And as we look now to something that's already happened with the setup, Brent Harvey's gone as a small forward playing out of the square. Rocker's down there, Nathan Thompson. Nathan Thompson, looking forward to seeing him, and also Hale, so they're going very tall, the Kangaroos.
Koutafidis inside the centre square.
Drew Petrie going to start in the ruck for the Kangaroos. Daniel Wells in the middle as well, as is their other young gun, Harris. And the skipper, Adam Simpson, in there for the Blues. Barnaby French, Nick Stevens, Anthony Koutafidis and Heath Scotland. We are almost ready to go. Season 2005 on Fox Footy. It's going to be a big year of football, and it all starts right here and now. The Kangaroos and Carlton. Big crowd at the Telstra Dome. French against Petrie. Harris got hands to ball. Simpson, first kick of the game. To centre half forward. Lappin back with the flight with courage. Spills to ground level. Camporelli thumps it out wide and finds Waite on centre wing. Wants to step inside Colbert. Colbert did well. Stuck to the task. Smothered it off the boot and took it to the line. Lee Brown with a job on Favola. Deep inside 50. The Blues leaving plenty of wide open space for Favola to work in.
Shannon Watt's got the job on Whitnell too.
See Brendan Favola at the top of screen. Whitnell over the back. Scotland the target. Was picked off by Petrie. Tumbles it towards half forward. Here's Thompson. First contest for the Kangaroos. And the ball spills out yet again. David Teague with the job on Nathan Thompson. As we take a look at the Carlton bench. Prendergast, DeLuca, Eddie Betts and Andrew Walker. Some young talent there on the bench for the Blues. Great atmosphere at the Telstra Dome. Thanks for joining us right around the country. Koutafidis to half forward. Waite the target. Coming across the front of the contest was Pratt. We'll have yet another throw in. These two sides just filling each other out early. We've got a minute and a half. There's the Kangaroo bench. Harding, Makepeace. New recruit Lance Piccioni and Michael Ferrito. Another throw in. Whitnell and Petrie. Cooter will be the third man up. Gets it going forward for the Blues, but Daniel Wells gets on the end of it. Turns around Davies. Goes towards the wing. Bannister up in front and takes the mark in front of Brent Harvey.
And he's got the big job playing on Brent Harvey. Bannister. And I think it's a good matchup with Brown playing on Favola because Brown is very, very quick. Archer comes across the top, thumps the ball away. Whitnell leaves the path there, taken away. Wells squeezed up on the boundary line. The man with the dancing feet says, I'll just sidestep over the line. I'll give you a behind. Let's go down to Glenn Manton.
Keep an eye on Sav Rocker, boys. The only North Melbourne player not to participate in the pre-game warm-up.
Daniel Wells is going to bring the ball back into play. Lee Brown playing at full back on Favola. In the opening game last year, he booted 6 goals. A lot can happen in 12 months of football. Looking for Petrie. French over the top. Had a great Wizard Cup. Struggled a bit last year. There were some doubts about Barnaby French. Short to Koutafidis. Stands outside 50. Penetrating kick to the hot spot. Getting back. Reading it well is Colbert, the veteran. To Archer. 2 wise men combined. The shin boner of the century for the Kangaroos goes wide. Pulled off the ball that time. Grant. They've paid advantage. So the Kangaroos will come away on centre wing to the half-forward line. Digby Morrell got beaten by the bounce. Here's a chance now. Here's Harvey, the danger man. Wants to take him on. Gets around Bannister. Checks side kick. He's kicked a beauty. Great goal to Brent Harvey. And he'd love to do that on Jordan Bannister because that's his tag, Tony.
Yeah, great play, wasn't it? The ball didn't bounce up to him how he would like early, so he kept the ball flowing by tapping it on, and he just grabbed it. I think he just wanted to get into the corridor, looked inside the corridor and said, I'd go myself, put the ball across his boot. Great conversion, that is fantastic, and Bannister has to stay goal side.
He was much maligned in the second half of last year, was Brent Harvey. They diagnosed, he knew had a problem with his leg, with his ankle. They had a stress fracture that they couldn't find during the season. They found it and fixed it up across the summer. And he's ready to prove a few knockers wrong, and he's gone about it the right way in the opening 3 minutes this afternoon. The Roos are on the board. French and Petrie. Koutafidis. Taken by Petrie. Got it towards Simpson. Needed clean hands. Lappin. Nick Stevens. towards half forward. Davies has got a bit of space, cuts it inside to Stevens from 55 for Vola. Tough man to stop when he gets out on the lead. So big, strong and so fast, Tony.
Well, Lee Brown, you couldn't do anything there. You can't blame the full-back. You've got to put some pressure on up the ground. And Nick Stevens, just beautiful use of the ball at full tilt. No one can stop that. No full-back can stop it.
Well, he was there, Brown, wasn't he? He was half a step behind him. It was good hands by Favola. It was a great kick by Stevens. It was half across his body.
66 goals, 41 last year. On the back of 63 the previous year. Has elevated himself to superstar status in this competition, Brendan Favola. And there's more to come. Blues back in front. Brendan Favola gets the first for season 2005. Good direct football from the centre again from the Blues.
And Davies also, everybody had a good wizard cut for the Blues. That's why they won it. But Davies was impressive. And the inside handball coming back in the corridor meant that Stevenson can find Favola. Now, Favola, you want to play with the ball in his hand when you want to kick the goal in tight situations. It's early in the game, but he's the man you want to have the ball.
A lot of people thought Koutafidis might start at centre-half back. He started inside that centre square. See a bit of pushing and shoving there by Brown. Kouta's already had 3 possessions. He gives that big body in there. Quick handball came out, of course, to Stevens before. That's where Kouta wears the big S on his chest. Here's Koutafidis again. Got his body in front. Pathway there for Scotland. Rockets the ball wide to Lappin. To centre-half forward. Getting back. Big fist away that time by Colbert. Pounced on by Bannister. Wobbles the ball in. Bouncing. Glenn Archer, he'd be happy to see this just trickle over line for a toss back in.
Carlton 1-1, the Roos 1 straight goal. We've gone 6 1/4 minutes.
Just wonder how long Drew Petrie will stay in the ruck. The tap work, Barnaby French has got his hand on the ball first on most occasions.
Just 15 metres around from goal. The ruck work. Archer. Good tackle that time by Camporelli. Brings the big man down.
Some of those matchups in midfield, KB. Rawlings is running with Camporelli, Simpson with Stevens. I wonder about that matchup. Simpson normally free-flowing, playing on Stevens in a negating role.
Petrie gets his hands on the ball. Carlton forward line was very good in the Wizard Cup, Tony, at really shutting down the opposition.
As in tackling and...
Tackling.
Yeah, well, that's Dennis
Putting
Payne.
pressure.
They've got numbers in there now, so the Kangaroos have pushed numbers back. See how many around that ball.
Petrie to do the ruck work, beaten by Whitnall. Thumped on that time by Wells, taken by Koutafidis. Into the pocket, backing back, he's got it. That's Waite. He's had a lot of injuries the last couple of seasons, but he's a young man in a hurry. He's a good size on the forward line. This is a sharp angle.
Too early.
Didn't quite open up enough space. Puts it through from behind.
Jared Waite played mostly at centre-half forward in the pre-season competition, and gee, he was good when the ball came out of the centre square, quick kicks. He was very good hands and released a lot of handballs.
It's a good size, 192, 93 kilos. If he's mobile as he is, could be a very, very talented prospect. Here's Houlihan, receives from Bannister, runs to 48. For a player with the natural skills of Ryan Houlihan, does have an ability to let himself down. Each and every week comes up with at least one horrific clanger. That wasn't it. It wasn't such a bad kick. He missed and he'd be disappointed, but...
Gee, the kickings have been a problem. I know it's only a couple of, 3 points to Carlton, but they've struggled to get it 3 men from the kick out, the Kangaroos.
Wells doing the kicking in. Kind of a strategy to help break his tag, no doubt. That and the fact he's such a great user of the ball. Speaking of which, Shannon Grant goes up towards the wing. It's a 2-on-1. Thompson brought it to the front of the contest. Koutafidis picked it off. 5th touch for Kouta. Dangerous kick. Scotland had to sit and wait. Simpson and Sinclair in there. Michael Stevens gathers, gives it to Sinclair, screws it back over the top to Hale.
Great kick.
Great play from the Kangaroos. Jess Sinclair came across, made the interception. Scotland had to wait flat-footed, and David Hale will be the beneficiary.
Well, the ball was in the air too long, wasn't it? Just gave enough time for Sinclair to get to the contest. Scotland was flat-footed, but gee, fantastic play again by Sinclair. He's a left footer. He could have had a shot on goal, but his vision looked up, and there's Hale, who was running into an open goal.
He's kicked 4 goals in his 14-game AFL career, David Hale. And he puts the Roos back in front. A bright opening at the Telstra Dome. The Roos are 2 straight goals. Carlton 1-3-9. We've played 9.5 minutes.
Gee, they've gone big, haven't they, the Kangaroos? Good finish by Hale, but again, the interception. And just here, I think Jess Sinclair's thinking, oh, I could go on to my left and have a shot on goal, but he looked across and saw Hale. No one was in goal side of him, and it's Stigmy Morrell, who's his opponent. And easy mark, and of course should have converted from there. So good start to the Kangaroos. They have to mark the ball up forward though, KB. Thompson, Rocker, Jones, Petrie's pushing forward from the ruck. So they've got a number of players playing up there who are big. They have to mark the ball.
Yes, and it's good to see Hale. They've been waiting for him over the last couple of years to just develop. Kicked a couple of goals in a game I saw last year and took 8 marks. So 2005 is huge. And look at this crowd here at Telstra Dome. It's a good crowd in to see Carlton, winner of the Wizard Cups, take on the mighty Kangaroos to the goal square. Rocker pushing and shoving. T comes across the face of the pack, thumps it through for a behind. Corey Jones just skittles himself into the fence. Teague, best and fairest winner last year for the Blues. Playing against his old side in the Kangaroos. The Blues go wide, looking for Koutafidis. To see the ball over the boundary line. There's Corey Jones, you can see there, just skittled. Got a bit of a shove from Teague.
And helped him up. Sportsman like KB.
That's what we like to see. A bit of sportsmanship. Here's Koutafidis. Strutting his stuff early in the game. He's done very, very well. Kouta expected to start at centre-half back. And we see that time, Houlihan's kick smothered.
And not only is he getting touches, Tony, he's had 6 possessions, Kouta, but 4 of those have been clearances.
Yes, his big body around the stoppages is working at the moment for Carlton.
Barnaby French put his big body in front of Hale. Camperelli caught up in the tackle. Gets good support from Kouta.
There's that man who loves the contest, Glenn Archer. Still wears the glove over that hand where he had horrible an operation last year.
Kangaroos by 4 points, 2-13 to 1-3-9. Barnaby French again gets first touch of the ball. Sinclair as the kick half smothered. Taken away by McGrath to the half-forward line, looking for weight. Allows Camperelli to get the run of the ball. Looking for Favola, dangerous kick, big thump away that time, smashed away by Brown. Still a chance, Brown dives on the ball. McGrath at the top as well. Camperelli wants a free kick, so does Davies. They can raffle it because they've got a free.
Well, the umpire said that Lee Brown pulled it under and did not get rid of the ball, KB, didn't push it on. And I think it's been one of the best rules we've seen brought into football because we've got less congestion. Yes, you being on the rules committee.
Takes the credit.
There's a lot of bad ones,
Thanks, Tony.
But you can see there he did pull the ball in and never got rid of it. So the umpire has to pay that free kick now.
Jordan Bannister will be shooting from just on 50. From 48. Hits the woodwork. 1-4-10 the Blues. They trail the Kangaroos 2-1-13.
Just seemed to poke at it then, Jordan Bannister. Didn't get the full leg through the football. And the Blues wasting a few chances early. Wells again, the kicking in duties to Pratt. Goes long towards the city wing. Harris has got a couple of metres on Waite. The bounce obliges and Waite takes him to the line.
You like that idea, Tony, of Wells kicking the ball in rather than be up the ground and maybe being a dangerous midfielder once the ball comes into play? Yeah,
you're probably right. You want him to carry the ball if it falls off the pack, so that might... He loses distances, doesn't he? Or yardages.
Harvey towards half forward. Camperelli up in front. Spills to the front. Teague. Advantage.
Free
will
kick
be
before
brought
that.
back.
Well, I mean, he carries the ball, KB. He still gets up into the play very quickly once he kicks it in. They're trying using his foot skills as best as they can.
Carlton do the same thing with Stevens and Camperelli at the other end. Another free kick. It's going to Koutafidis. He's got one over the shoulder in the marking contest. 7th touch coming up. Whitnell. Looking for McGrath. Koutafidis. Houlihan spins through a tackle. Beats 2. Handball to Whitnell. Needs to be quick. Has got some support. Bannister. He's wrapped up and they turn it over. Wells. The switch of play.
Dangerous
Awkward
play.
kick for Jones. Gathered it beautifully in great hands. Corey Jones averted disaster. Handball over the top to Archer. He's got a couple of runners inside. Decides to go himself. to 50. Morell at the front for the Blues. Got fist to ball against Hale at ground level. Here's T. He tidies up. Little handball to Stevens. And he chips it back towards the wing. Archer over the top. Free kick, push out. Going to Scotland. Just got nudged under it according to the umpire. Scotland goes towards Koutafidis again. Knocking up, getting touches to Spawn. Inside 50, looking for Favola. Too much on it. And Shannon Watt picks it off for the Roos.
Well, you can see there, Lee Brown on Whitnall, they just had 3 players around for Favola there. They've got to go through their other options up forward, the Blues. Not every time the Favola.
Grant's got it. Cross half back. Goes short. Looking for Stevens. Wrapped up in the tackle. Beaten by weight with strength. Lappin, the danger man. The playmaker. Whitnall's the target. Getting back strongly that time was great play by Watt. He's given away the free kick. I thought he pushed back really well. Did he have his eyes on the ball?
I think he did. I think he turned it around. I disagree with that, the umpire. They've brought in that new rule now that if you chop the arms away when the contest is there, this is where if you make... No, he turned around to watch the ball. You couldn't do any better than that, KB, when you're out of position.
No, I think he did it quite well. He did it very well.
If he'd used his hands and pushed off, that's the new rule. That would have been a free kick, but the umpire got it wrong on that occasion. But doesn't matter now because Lance Whitnall is lining up for the Blues' second goal.
Should kick a goal. It's just 20 metres out. Shannon Watt did well. He made it a contest. Didn't lay a hand on Whitnall, who popped it straight through the centre.
Oh, and Lee Brown's run through him after he's kicked the goal. Here it is, it's on.
The Blues are in front. Favola very upset for his mate Lance Whitnall. 2-4-16, the lead by 3 points. The Kangaroos 2-1-13. There's Whitnall and Brown. You could just see in the corner of the screen.
That's the matchup I thought might have happened. Have a look at the sizing of them. 2 big blokes having a go there, but Whitnall was decked after he kicked the goal, and normally the umpires reverse that, but here, no free kick there.
Well, he did it magnificently well.
Yeah, I agree with you, KP.
Most unlucky.
And here it is, Lee Brown. Favola having a go. It's just early in the season, just fly the flag. Love to see it.
Blowing out the cobwebs. Carlton 2-4, Kangaroos 2-1. Played 16.5 minutes in the opening term. Scotland, Koutafidis again. Handball went nowhere, picked off by Ferrito. Spears it inside 50, Morell read it best. Took the mark, rebounds aggressively to Lappin. The Blues around the city side, awkward looking kick. Kind bounce though for Scotland, handball was a shocker. Was looking for Houlihan, mishit it, straight to Makepeace. And the turnover to Sinclair. Steps inside French, lifts the eyes, goes to 50. Carazzo gives away a free kick.
Now,
chop the arm, Corey Jones.
The umpire said that across the shoulder or chop the arm, but the problem is Corey Jones is a lot bigger than Carazzo. Carazzo plays on normally the small goal sneak. This could be a matchup which they can really utilise, the Kangaroos. And just see, I think he had the hand on the shoulder. But gee, Koutafidis is a problem now for the Kangaroos. I think Ferrito's just come on the ground to take him and tag him.
So Corey Jones, good at 22-17 last season. Been good for a goal a game in his 58-game career. Have to kick this 55 metres. Stuttering approach. It's not going to get there.
Sav.
I've seen it many times.
I've seen it a lot of times.
You can't allow people like Sav Rocket to get a run at the ball. You've got to be standing in front of them.
But just prior, I think the umpire was on the wrong side of the goals. Livingston went to ground. I wonder whether Sav Rocket pulled him down before he went for that mark. But if he gets a free run, he just jumps beautifully. He's well balanced in the air, Sav Rocket, for such a big bloke. It's not the easiest kick either. He's on the wrong side for his natural foot, but only 2 metres out, so should convert.
He's kicked 685 goals in a wonderful career. Chalk up another. Kangaroos resume the lead once more. They're 3-1-19. The Blues 2-4-16. We've played 18 3/4 minutes here at the Telstra Dome in the opening round.
Well, the tall forward's working at the moment, isn't it, KB?
We just made a change.
You can just see there, Livingston, whether he's looking for the body or whether he's pulled back, he's saying to the umpire, what's going on? I was dragged to the ground.
Tony, we've got to say, Sav Rocker has turned it around, coming to the side last year. He wasn't in the Kangaroos side last year, and then they brought him in, And he just, he kicked 49 goals for the season. And he just was rejuvenated.
He plays better when he's on edge, KB, like survival in the game. That makes you get edgy, and that's how he plays his best football. Sometimes you want Sad to get hit early in the game to just get the emotions going.
Barnaby French won the tap, been pinched by Brent Harvey, kicked the first goal of the game. Simpson, 1-2, looped it over the top. Harvey runs to 40, closes.
Gee.
Poor kick, taken by Livingston, I presume.
Looked like he kicked it with his knee.
Last line of defence to Teague. Make that Stevens. He's in the back pocket. Goes short. Prendergast. Still at half-back. Penetrating kick. Good player, Prendergast. Can play key position. Big and strong. Quick. Should have a great future in the game. Here's Waite, wants a free kick. He'll get a ball up on the edge of the centre square.
Kangaroos have reshuffled their forward line. David Hale come off for a spell. Lee Harding replacing him as they just go for a slightly different structure.
Yes, that means Carlton will have to make a few changes. Maybe a smaller player come off the bench.
Well, he can be very dangerous, Harding. Sometimes he just hasn't quite got the goals he should have with the opportunities, but he can be very, very dangerous. Here's Wells, dropped one in short. Thompson came late on the scene, has given away the free kick.
I don't know what he could have done then, Thompson.
But he got in his back.
Well, he had to punch the ball. He's going to make contact with his back. Let's see if he has his eyes on the ball.
Over the shoulder, plus hit him in the ear.
Oh, well, we just won't let anybody spoil the ball anymore when they're in marking contests.
You're allowed to.
Other than that, sure, it looked okay.
You're not allowed to get him in the head. There's Prendergast before. Can stand tall, taken away by McGrath. The Blues on the charge. Favola couldn't take it, went early against Brown. Was it a shove out? Not paid. Hands and knees. Houlihan backtracks, concedes ground. Clever play.
Oh.
Clever play by Waite. Kicks a beauty.
What a talent, Jared Waite. He's the only player on the Carlton list not to play senior footy in 2002. Tony, they just held him back, didn't think he was ready, wasn't bulked up enough. Had stress fractures in his feet last year until round 10, but came in and made a very good impression.
Well,
free kick on the shoulders.
A free kick.
Hands on the shoulders.
Had to be before this goal, but look at the poise. Was going to have the ball smothered if he did kick the ball. Just pull it back onto his body and then straighten up off one step. Well done. Jared Waite, he is a talent. As I said, played centre-half forward in a lot of the Wizard Cup games, and every time the ball came out of the square, he was first. He's very quick for such a big man, 6'3".
The Blues by 3 points. Here's Glenn Manton.
I think Glenn Archer might have to tighten up on Jared Waite, giving him too much leeway, allowing him too greater access to the ball.
Doesn't seem a great matchup. Jared Waite very athletic and very mobile. Spawn inside 50. Makepeace goes back with courage. Didn't quite bring it down. Umpire belatedly paid it. Called play on and then paid the mark.
I would have paid it for courage alone.
Makepeace goes looking for Simpson. Just worked off Jared Waite. Hands off. The exciting Wells. Arches the back. Slips away. Just glides across the turf, Andrew McLeod style. Centres it up to the umpire beautifully.
Did he mean that?
He got out of the way and Shannon Grant took the mark.
Did Daniel Wells mean to kick that to Shannon Grant? It was just magnificent vision if he did.
Grant, look at the numbers. Carlton's pushed back. It somehow got through there. Harding's gone off the deck. Trickles towards the line and through for a minor score. Exciting contest. 22.5 minutes gone in the opening term. Here we see Camporelli doing the kicking in. Similar strategy to Wells at the other end. They use Stevens and Camporelli to try and lose their tag.
And players with kicking skills.
And that's the other one. They go to Stevens in the back pocket. Bannister up and about. Back to Stevens. And that's how they managed to get through the ground. Stevens and Camporelli. Teague to half forward. Favola on the long lead. He's got it 65 from home. Prendergast tearing back towards the goal square, but Favola.
He's a good size Prendergast. You can see him
Kick
there,
it long, here he is.
right in the goal square.
He's one-on-one. The kick was just a little too ambitious from Favola. Could have just put it up. Had the height advantage to Prendergast. It was only Wells and Pratt to beat. Just needed it long and high, Tony.
Well, it didn't have any distance on the kick, which is something you never say about Brendan Favola. But, gee, behind the play here, is this a trip? Oh, no, I think he just tried to change direction. The umpire was close to that, but I wouldn't think there'd be anything said about that. Done.
Ferrito takes it outside defensive 50. Got some space to work in. Pokes the kick down the line. Good grab at pace. Harding and kept his feet as Carazzo went to ground. Harding accelerates to 55. High ball to the square. Watch for Lance from the side. Got hands to ball. And again, we see late in the quarters, as has been the way, they push back the likes of Lappin and Whitnell. And it worked to great effect on that occasion as Scotland comes off for a breather, replaced by Walker.
Yes, the young man who had had that fantastic debut against the West Coast Eagles. Just on the ground. Lappin pumps the ball back. Looking for, this time, Prendergast. He's had a very good opening quarter along with Koutafidis. Hammers the ball back to half-forward line. Plenty of carry on the ball. Now the whistle is gone. It's coming back, and it is a free kick. Makepeace. Short to Pratt. Spears the ball in. Shown plenty of courage was Rawlings. Western Ferris winner from last year. Goes wide, finds Stevens. Still inside the centre square. Going short to Makepeace, who's come all the way down from the back pocket to the square. One for the Tors. Getting back that time was Teague. Made it a real contest. Petrie goes to ground. Sliding in under the ball again is Rawlings. And a boundary throwing just 15 metres around from goal. So a chance for the Kangaroos. They trail by 2 points. 23 plays, 21. French pumps the ball towards the boundary line. Simpson with those quick hands. Great presence of Miney, who's looking for Harvey. Caught in the tackle, dumped that time. It was Carazzo. And it stacks on Mill.
Now Shannon Watt has come down to the forward 50 now that Whitnell has pushed in defence later in this quarter. So he's got to try and score a goal on Whitnell.
So they're pushing and shoving the umpire. Just got the game moving. And again, Ferrito takes the ball over the boundary line. 3-5-23 the Blues. The Kangaroos 3-3-21. They trail by 2 points. We've played just on 26 minutes in this opening quarter at Telstra Dome in front of a good crowd. As the Wizard Cup premiers. Carlton take on the might of the Kangaroo, and Sinclair stands and delivers. Wells couldn't take it. He'll be exhausted. Daniel Wells. He's everywhere. He's kicking in. He's going for marks in the goal square. He's filling in midfield. He's an absolute running machine.
Whitnell down back late in the quarter to Morrell. Just holds it up. Teague leads to the wing. He's covered. So Morrell waiting for an option. McGrath leads into picture, left of screen. In the end, they just go down the line. Teague did well. He offered a double lead there, and Watt fell off the back of him. In the end, Houlihan took the mark. Now Whitnell covering some ground. Camporelli cleaned up the crumb. No one inside 50 for the Blues. Here's the paddock. Jones against Koutafidis, one-on-one. Kouta's got to go against Paccioni as well. In the end, numbers win for the Roos. Paccioni's handball. A little sloppy. Put Jones under pressure. He gets away.
Bad kick.
Waite bumped into his man just a touch early. Didn't time his run. In the end, the ball socketed to the line, and it's a 0-0 draw.
You become a little bit nervous if you're a defender and you turn back and you have to, the ball runs towards goal and you're the only man going back that way with Carlton players on your back, pressuring you. You've got to turn the momentum of the ball.
Waite couldn't get an effective tap. Walker hovering over it. Sinclair put his body on the line, won the football. Thompson flicked it out. Ferrito puts a shimmy. Little kick towards the wing. Hot ball to be won. Koutafidis to Teague was sweet. Stevens from 60 metres unloads a long one. It's a 2-on-1. Carlton crowd are up. It's Eddie Betts. And the ball goes over the line. You can hear Eddie Betts in the crowd as the ball went forward. Daniel Wells off for a spell. Just extending his quarter-time break.
That might become a bigger cat's cry than Hungry Bartlett when he was playing the game.
Thompson in the ruck against Prendergast. Makepeace collected the crumbs to Paccioni. Now to Brent Harvey. Twisting and turning inside 50. Short kick was tidy. And Shannon Watt marks it. Left half back. Just under a minute and a half remaining till quarter time. Rawlings got a screen from the runner and took the mark. Renewing his rivalry with Scott Camporelli. It's been a fierce one in the last 18 months or so. Harvey took the mark. And there, how about that?
50 metres.
Nostradamus. We're just talking about Camporelli and Rawlings and their heated rivalry, and there we see it.
They have been going at it for 10 minutes now, and I tell you what, Scott Camporelli, Dennis Pagan is true to his word. Normally, if these things happen, he takes the player off. Doesn't matter who it is and how big a name. Now, whether he thought that was big enough to do it, but a 50-metre penalty to goal, That normally occurs.
Bitterly frustrating with a minute left on the clock till quarter time.
And as he lines up for this shot on goal, let's see where the Carlton runner's running in the 50 if we can. He's just running the 50, and here comes Scott Camporelli off the ground. There it is.
It is certainly a tactic that Taggers have used with great success, it must be said, against Scott Camporelli over the years. They can get under his skin and put him off his game. And he might pay the price here. Brent Harvey to finish from 48. That is a shocker.
That's his second shot.
That
He
has
didn't make
missed
the
a
distance.
lot.
Most unlike Harvey, he really is a dead-eye dick. There's Dennis Pagan. He's just ripped Camporelli off the field, giving away the 50 metres, but they can smile. There was no late goal by the Kangaroos, not just for the moment. Here's Walker, just launched himself, taken away by Frito. He's good in close. Stevens tumbles the ball back, Wade on the stretch, couldn't take it. Archer with strength, just crashed through his opponent in Eddie Betts. Gives the ball back to Makepeace. They'll share the ball around. Pratt goes wide to Rawlings. He wants a runner. Here comes Brown, down from full back. It was a shocking hand pass. At his feet, Brown stands and delivers into the pocket. Backing back, he's looking for Hale. Too much carry on the ball. And it's a boundary throw in still 20 metres around from the Kangaroos goal. Shocking handball. Only had to hit the target with Lee Brown and he would have ran to 50.
Look at the numbers there, Tony. Just about every player on the ground inside the 50 for the Roos.
Well, they've closed up shop, and I think for Viola was lucky they didn't set up a goal there because he had to chase Lee Brown and didn't.
Caught high. Stevens asked the question. Umpire Smith said, "Give it to me, I'm going to bounce." The siren sounds when a very entertaining first quarter on Fox Footy live and exclusive right around the country. And the Blues 3-5-23 lead by 1.34. 22 the Kangaroos.
Goal kickers for the Blues, Whitnell, Favola and Waite. While Rocker, Harvey and Hale have the goals for the Kangaroos. Koutafidis with 10 possessions, Nick Stevens with 8, Bannister 6, Camporelli 6. While for the Kangaroos, 6 each to Harvey and Makepeace, 5 to Wells, Simpson and Ferrito. All adds up to a very entertaining opening quarter of football here at the Telstra Dome. Carlton 3-5-23, leading the Kangaroos 3-4-22. We'll be back with all the second quarter action from the Telstra Dome right around Australia on Fox Footy right after this.
Well, we know Koutafidis is a fantastic player. He played the last 11 games last year. We know he had an interrupted Wizard Cup, but you've got to pick him up inside that centre square.
Second term at the Telstra Dome, 40,000 fans, 26-degree temperature. Footy's back and it's fantastic. Daniel Harris pumps it inside 50. Good start for the Roos. Makepeace worked off Trent Spawn beautifully. Just used the body, nudged Spawn under the contest. And now sets himself from just on 50.
Just watching Daniel Harris was running towards the bench. He got that clearance out of the centre when Koutafidis had the ball, ripped it out of his hands. I was just wondering why he was running towards the bench, but they've sent him back now. So just a message from the coach's box.
Just 27 goals for Troy Makepeace in 104 games, primarily a defender, but starting inside the 50 in this second term. It could pay off if someone marks it. Inside 50 at ground level, Camporelli. The Blues have got some numbers behind the ball. Prendergast, it was a beautiful kick. Great vision to McGrath. Didn't panic deep in defence. McGrath tried to honour the lead from Jared Waite. It was a poor kick and Colbert picked it off. He'll square it up to Michael Stevens. Wells now leads to the forward 50. The moment's lost. Chip straight up the middle. Here's Archer. Again, plenty of numbers inside the forward 50 for the Roos as the Blues flood back, and somehow they still find it. Beautiful lead, and what a great kick from Glenn Archer. Severio Rocker didn't have to break stride. He's well and truly in range, kicking from 55, and with only 2 players behind Glenn Archer on the entire ground, it was a pinpoint kick.
Well, this was a good mark because Troy Makepeace looked like he was going for the mark and tried to mark it, so Sav had to watch whether the ball was going to deflect, kept his eye on the ball. Now, distance isn't a worry. This is when I think Sav Rocker normally kicks his best. From about 30 out on set shots, he tightens up, but we'll just see the follow through here. It's still a hard kick to convert from, as in goal-wise. It's not a problem with the distance.
Hasn't he got the best follow
it's
through of any player in the game?
Well, the probably other person, Ben Graham, was the other one who I used to love watching, who's not playing the game anymore, retired. But, yeah, from this distance, fantastic technique.
55. Oh, beautiful looking kick. Never in doubt. Roos back in front at the Telstra Dome as Andrew Walker comes off in some distress, just receiving some attention from the medical staff down on the boundary line. We'll hear more from Glenn Manton shortly.
But often we see those classical kicks, don't we, with the straight right leg. But that's one thing that Severio Rocker can do. And we can see this clever mark here, because it did look like Makepeace was going to take the mark, and then Sav, of course, playing in front of Livingston. But he's just got that magnificent kicking style. He's got two.
Look at that. He finished with his boot over his head, KB. But as I said, I've seen it happen a lot of times. I saw him kick 10 goals against Essendon playing on Dustin Fletcher one day at the MCG. And it was as good as football you'd ever see from a key forward.
Saw that game myself, Tony. Did you sack him at Collingwood and send him on his,
no, I didn't.
On his ways to Kangaroos?
It was a couple of years after I had left.
Thought you were too smart to do that. French winning his hands on the ball. All tied up by Koutafidis. Let's go down to Glenn Manton.
Might have to watch Andrew Walker. Seems to have a little bit of trouble with his right ankle, and it sort of fragments into Luke Livingston's problem. Unable to decide on a starting position on Severio Rocker. Best to play him from the side.
Taken away by Petrie. Hurries the kick high. Smashed away that time by Teague at ground level. Harris to Wells. Two young guns combined for the Kangaroos. Taken away by Watt, who goes wide, penetrating kick, speared the kick in towards Adam Simpson. So the Kangaroos good enough to keep it alive. Stevens, hands and knees. Back to Makepeace. Beautiful kick. And Big Sav on that long searching run has marked on his chest.
And Luke Livingston complaining with the umpire again, believing that he was pulled off the ball, and Sav Rocker got those couple of steps start. That's the other thing he can do. He leads very hard, Sav, and he's a big body to get round. But Makepeace, fantastic kick, wasn't it? Well-weighted kick into space. Now we'll see how Sav kicks this one. What's the technique here, KB? Whether it's a shorter follow-through. I don't know why he does it, because you should say any time Sav Rocker gets it, he should kick it over the grandstand with his follow-through, but we'll just see if he just tightens up a little bit.
Livingston stands the mark. Sav Rocker going for goal number 3. So the confidence is high. The Kangaroos lead by 5 points. This to increase the margin to 11. And Sav Rocker, and you're absolutely correct, Tony.
It was a jab, wasn't it?
It was a jab. It wasn't the same straight leg. It wasn't trying to kick it through post high. He just tried to steer it through. And just through for a behind. You'd make a great coach, Tony. Hopefully someone will pick you up one day.
I've already been sacked once. You don't want to go through it another time.
Well, Camporelli was sacked just before quarter time, but he's back in the action. High flyer that time. French stayed down. Feeds the ball off. He was looking for Teague. Lucks of fortune. Finds Lappin. Houlihan's the hard runner from centre wing to centre half forward. Reading it well that time was Brown for Vola. Ran back to the goal square on the rebound. The Kangaroos, they can hurt the Blues. Looking for Stevens. Needs support. It comes through Watt. Run down that time. Good chasing by Houlihan. Back to Stevens. Finds Petrie. Stands on 50. It's a poor kick across the face of goal. Digby Morrell was getting back. Somehow seemed to lose his footing. Taken away by Carazzo. That last line of defence. Rockets the ball. Looking for some run out of defence now. Came from Houlihan. Back to Lappin. Run down by Wells. Goes wide. Good defensive play by Watt, who's showing a bit of initiative in this second term, backing himself in, running down the ground, and that's what that young man's got to put into his game. Pick up some possessions, run down the ground, get involved.
Well, the speed isn't a worry. He can use his speed. He runs the lines well. The problem is if they take him deep, his body-on-body work wasn't good enough last year, so looks like he's built up a bit in his upper body too.
French and Petrie. Third man up, Prendergast. Through the legs of Whitnell. Chance now for the Roos through Wells. Uses Archer. They come directly across the ground to the dock side. The mark's taken by Corey Jones. Makepeace running hard to provide an option. He honours that effort. If it'll sit for him is a chance. Spawn closes the ground. Comes in over the top. Makepeace continues on. Still going, Troy Makepeace. Stuck to the task. Jones steps a man. Got one high and will get a free kick. Good effort, Troy Makepeace. Didn't panic.
Well, it's the one time you don't want, don't you? You've got space and the ball won't bounce up to you, so everybody's gaining on you. But he just worked the ball well, didn't pull it underneath and kept the ball alive.
Again, they switch play directly across the ground. Koutafidis won't quite get there soon enough, and Harris takes the mark and/or free kick. Carlton a bit flat in this second term.
Everybody forward to the centre circle now.
Gone completely defensive, the Blues. Colbert to Brown.
He's the last man standing on that line.
Signs not good for Carlton just as we speak. Corey Jones, the Blues are on the ropes.
Nearest Carlton player to their goal is 90 metres away.
Just covering up at the moment, Carlton. Waiting for the momentum to swing their way. Jones to Colbert, and the Roos still good enough to pick holes in this heavy flood.
You have to be patient. They keep switching the play, looking backwards.
Call to play on now. Change of rule, no warning anymore. Kudafiti's got hands to ball. Inside 50, lapping towards the line. Stevens keeps it alive. Bends it back, Michael Stevens. It could just bounce. Simpson, Teague. And the Blues arrive in numbers. They can now take it out the other side, but there's nothing to kick to. All the Carlton players are in their own defensive 50. Up the middle. Scotland. They have to run it forward, the Blues. Lappin. Wait at centre half forward. For Boland out. Charging back towards the square. Goes to Lance at 50. They've got a man over the top. Good long hard lead.
Leading on inside,
but not honoured.
Now you've got to take it on yourself and try and kick the goal.
Corey McGrath worked himself into space. You saw it on screen. Came right down the ground to the opposite forward pocket, then led across the front of the goal square. But Lance will go himself from 55 to give it a big ride. Tugs it left, going for distance. Minor score. So the Blues with a heavy flood, of course, what that does mean, Tony, is when they win possession in their own defensive 50, it's the charge of the Light Brigade to get to position.
It is. You just keep running forward, and they link up well from halfback. 9 minutes into the quarter, the Kangaroos have just dominated play, but they haven't put it on the scoreboard.
Colbert. Patient once again to Sinclair, called to play on. Nothing on at all down that side of the ground. Hence the hesitation. You can see on screen, further down the ground, there was nothing to kick to. And that's what happened. Prendergast inside 50. Wait. It's a chess game at the moment, and both sides getting themselves into some difficult situations. Jared Waite a chance to go back and put the Blues in front once more.
Well, all the numbers for the Kangaroos were on the other side of the ground, and they didn't switch the ball. And Jess Sinclair just got himself in a little bit of trouble there, going onto his left foot, didn't look back the other side where the numbers were for the Kangaroos. So turned the ball over, and Prendergast has found Waite.
Wells off, Harvey on for the Roos. Jared Waite for his second goal. Likes it. Dobs it. 2 goals to Jared Waite. The Blues back in front. We've played 10 minutes in the second term. We mentioned the swinging in momentum. Pagan pushed all the players back when they just knew that the Kangaroos had control. The last 3 or 4 minutes, the Blues have managed to get a bit of football themselves and turn it around.
Well, they did. As I said, they dominated the play, the Kangaroos. And you're right, they did get numbers behind the play. Just there, we saw Jess Sinclair and Lee Brown. It hemmed them into one side of the ground where the numbers were for the Kangaroos. Over the other side, Sinclair had to look to his right instead of staying on his favoured left foot. But Jared Waite, important player to this forward line mix for the Carlton side.
Got to say, Carlton did run hard. They might flood, but they certainly did run hard to get back in numbers. Here's Kudafidis again strutting his stuff in that centre square. He's been great today. He's had 11 possessions. Stevens is next best with 9. And the ball over the line for a boundary throw-in. 4-6-30. It's the Blues by a point. The Kangaroos 4-5-29. Makepeace with 10 possessions. 7 to Harvey, 7 to Wells, who's just left the field. Stevens also is 7, and Corey Jones. Cooter for that kick now moves to 12. 9 possessions to Stevens, 8 to Banniston, 8 to Lappin. Harris rode the bump well, brought down the tackle by Spawn. Free kick is coming back. Too high to Harris. He was one of their young guns last year. Along with Corey Jones. Look out, here's Archer. Did not see Lance Whitnell. Lands in the arms of Scotland, goes short. Prendergast can set it up, rockets the ball wide. Here comes Kuda. Kudafidis bangs it home. Well, we can't say the man with a golden boot. He's got white boots on today, Kudafidis. But for a man that's missed so much football and there's been so many doubts about his fitness and where he could play and how he could get through a game, he started in the midfield. He's now had it 13 times. And now he kicks a big goal for the Blues.
Well, it was a lack of awareness by Glenn Archer. He knew Favola was in front of him, but didn't look behind him. Whitnell, well done to chase him down. And then Heath Scotland, of course, set him up. Prendergast could have had a shot from there, but handballs over to Koutafidis. Didn't hit it as well as he'd liked. Had a look and bent it through, though. Geez, had a great first half in this game.
It's a tactical struggle, isn't it?
The send-bounce clearances is unbelievable.
Chess match goes on at the moment. And there's Cooter.
He's too big in the centre square for his opponent.
David Parker rates him as the best clearance player he's ever seen. Given he's coached the likes of Ratton and Williams, it's high praise indeed. It's Grant to Archer. Keen to atone. Thumps it long towards 50. Morel will go back with the flight. Over the top came Lappin to split the pack. Ball spills to the front. French gathers below his ankles. To Scotland on the left. Chips it up. Davies had to stand and wait. Sinclair cut across the back of the contest. Handball to Archer. Now to Watt. Watt just blindly kicks towards a 3-on-1. Livingston was clever to Teague. Great effort from Corey Jones. Came with intensity. Teague went back. Dispossessed Rocker. Rocker goes again. Scotland will appear on the scene. Jones one-on-one with him. But Scotland has some numbers. Wait. Looks up, what's he got? Cooter at half forward. Shorter than that, he goes to Davies. Wide open forward line again for the Blues. Whitnell and Koutafidis the only two targets. They've got 4 opponents against them though. He pops it up. Cooter from the side. Over the top, there's no crummers for the Blues. And Stevens can take it out for the Kangaroos. Wide open space now to work down the city side of the ground. Sinclair. He's got to look up. It really is a game that you've got to think through at the moment for players. They can't just bang it in. Because strategically, with numbers getting back at both ends, you've got to just poke it forward. You can't bomb it. And they've done it well. They've created a loose man.
Ferrito's on in the pocket.
And Hale took his time. Teague might just get there. He does. The moment was lost. Ferrito was by himself for 15 seconds. And when we talk about thinking, it's a thinking man's game out there today, Tony. You've got to have your wits about you when you get the football.
Well, you're right. They're just too long holding the ball because Ferrito had pushed forward hard. And you have to, your first initial thought should always go with in football. And it wasn't on that occasion.
Full marks to David Teague. Got across strongly, got a fist of the ball. Hale in the ruck, beaten by French, taken away by Koutafidis. Just killing the Kangaroos around the stoppages. Carazzo from half back. Hammers the ball back. Whitnell on the stretch. Couldn't take it at ground level. Good strong play by Grant. Somehow shoveled the ball out to Rawlings, who goes very short. Looks for Harris. Good hands. Traps it well from outside 50. High ball. Standing his ground in front. What a grab. Lappin.
50 metres against Stevens.
Tremendous mark under pressure. Matthew Lappin.
Lance Whitnell down on his haunches on the far side. Up and about now.
He was out of position, wasn't he, KB? That's why
Terrific.
it was such a good mark. But Stevens then threw him to the ground, so 50-metre penalty.
So Waite with a long lead, pleading for the ball. That's been ignored by Lappin, who goes for a longer option. Davies backing back on the stretch, caught high. Will take the free kick. Koutafidis keen to get back inside 50.
Is Lance still a bit ginger, you could say?
Davies. There's Whitnell. Be aware of the injured player. Chance for Carazzo, could kick his first goal from 40 metres out. Tumbles it off the boot. Wobbles it through from behind.
So Jared Waite, he's kicked 2 goals, but that was smart play to Carazzo. He couldn't mark the ball, and he knew he wasn't getting it. He punched the ball half volley off the ground into Carazzo's vision, and then he just didn't finish.
Let's check on the condition of Andrew Walker. Glenn Manton is trackside.
Yes, Andrew Walker's now returned to the bench and he's wearing some track pants and his teammates have gone to give him some support. So it looks like it could be, if not a day-ending injury, but a serious injury that could see him out for a couple of weeks.
Well, let's hope not. He's a fine young player as Ferrito towards centre-half forward. Good play by Livingston. Got a fist at French, has been good as well. Spawn, good in close, taken away by Bannister. Good vision, he was looking for Camporelli, didn't quite hit the target. Archer comes through hard, kept his eyes on the ball. Kangaroos finish with it. Harvey backtracks, concede ground, retreated, gives it across the cob. It goes wide. They've got the numbers. Makepeace and Thompson, they should win out 2 against 1. Got Lappin the beat. Wild handball, Lappin. Great tackle. Kangaroos with numbers, win out, go wide. Digby Morrell gets back. That last line of defence. Now on the rebound. This is where we'll see the Blues. They will run hard. Teague takes it, gives it across to Davies. Here comes Carrazzo, runs hard, takes the ball at centre-half back. Now the space is opening up. The Blues do this well. They get back in numbers and then they run forward. That time, Waite just couldn't quite handle the ball. Forced over the line. Let's have a look at Camporelli and Brady Rawlings. They've been at it again. And there's just a little slap across the face and a bit of a headlock. Heath Scotland comes in to assist as well. Over the top that time, Prendergast. Taken away by Simpson, the skipper.
Free kick.
Now the whistle has gone and the Blues have got a free kick. Davies.
No one on the mark either if he plays on quickly.
Favola's the target. Whitnell's at the back of the pack. Grant will clean up. Oh. Thompson just wobbles the kick forward. Barely 25 metres. Rawlings tried to shovel it back out towards Harvey. Finds the boundary line.
Amazing game, because the first 10 minutes you thought the Kangaroos dominated play, but Carlton kicked the goal, and now Carlton are dominated. They just haven't got anybody across half forward who can mark the ball for the Kangaroos.
It's 26 or 27 degrees outside. In fact, 29 according to the scoreboard. There's a few tight players out there, Tony. A lot of blokes walking around already with hands on hips. The style of game we're seeing here with heavy flooding, where players have to sprint 100 to 150 metres in one go. It really is a taxing game.
It'll tell.
Also 39,868 squashed into the dome.
Unbelievable crowd, fantastic crowd. But the thing about it too, the first game looks like the blood rule, and Brady Rawlings might be coming off. The umpire's having a look at it. He said at least wipe it, which he's done. Common sense there, well done.
Daniel Wells lurking off the back of this contest. Heads in his direction, couldn't take it. Prendergast, good tackle. Taken down and it's spilt to Harvey. The Roos now away, breaking from the stoppage. Daniel Pratt through the middle. Can go by hand to Michael Stevens. He goes to 55, runs to 50, sets sail for home and puts it through. Beautiful work from the clearance from the Kangaroos. Broke into open space. Ran it nicely. Michael Stevens well balanced as Harvey comes off for a spell to be replaced by Lee Harding. And the margin back to 2 points.
Well, you don't want to set up a goal, do you? Because Brent Harvey just set that up from the as Favola comes off also. DeLuca on. Harvey set that up from the contest on the wing. And they just ran the ball through the lines, because at the moment they can't kick the ball long to centre half forward. They're going to have to run through that line to kick their goals, as Stevens did.
Just the 2 touches for Brendan Favola.
So big DeLuca comes onto the ground, goes to centre half forward. Brendan Favola. I don't think before the start of the game, Tony, we would have picked that he'd be off before half time.
He hasn't touched the ball for probably nearly a whole quarter.
5-7-37 the Blues. They lead by 2 points. The Kangaroos 5-5-35. Prendergast and Koutoufides. Big bodies inside that centre square. Big pack of players. Ground level. Davies had it and lost it. Chance for Stevens. Look away handball. Didn't quite hit a target. Whitnell had it and lost it also. Camporelli pulled off the ball. Good enough to get his kick in. Jared Waite has kicked a couple of goals and is a desperate young player and forces the ball over the line. And even a pat on the back from Glenn Archer.
Yeah, that's the respect you'd love to earn if Glenn Archer gives you a pat on the back and says, well done, son.
Seal of approval. Favola. Hale fights for that front position. DeLuca got the tap away. Archer just read it well. Crashed through the pack. Here's Koutoufides. Tied up that time by Ferrito.
Oh, wow.
Pratt from half back. And Houlihan kicks a poor one. Taken by Makepeace. He was hung on to. He thought he was should have got a free kick. Maybe holding the tackle too long. Digby Morrell comes away from centre wing, kicks a high ball. DeLuca is going to stand in front now. The whistle is gone.
Another free kick on the wing.
And it's coming back, and it's going to Carlton.
I don't know whether that was advantage to Carlton was a KB. They kicked the ball along their forward line. Now they've got to set up. Kangaroos can get behind the lines and block them up.
Teague goes short to Prendergast.
I don't know who's playing on Prendergast and Koutoufides. I know Ferrito's gone to Koutoufides in the last half of this quarter.
They're hard to match up on because of their size. Here's a chance. Koutoufides just squeezed between Archer. Taken away by Davies. He read it beautifully off the pack, but the young man has missed from point-blank range.
It was a good contest from Koutoufides. He had 3 to beat in the air. And that was all he had to do, just get it to ground. But unfortunately, Davies couldn't finish.
Sometimes Glenn Archer shows too much courage. You can see him backing back, but that's his man going front and square. He had 3 players in the contest anyway. Just too courageous for his own good at times, Glenn Archer.
Sinclair to Watt. Dying stages of this first half, and Whitnell comes across to cut it off. Handball to Morrell. We'll go towards Cooter again with 3 to beat in the air. Gets it to ground. Corey Jones. High ball. Morrell and Simpson.
Well, wow.
Simpson did well, kept his eyes on it. Now they've got some space. Piccioni will come into your screen in a moment. Here he comes. Carazzo with a couple to beat. Piccioni. Awkward handball. It's still there for Harding. Slaps it towards Piccioni's advantage. Houlihan did well. The Blues did very well to get that to the line because it was a 2-on-1 with Piccioni to run on it.
Caracho did well. He's quick. He's quick.
He pressured, didn't he? Don't know about Lance Piccioni there. His thought process wasn't that good. His handball missed the target.
I think we've got to give credit to Carazzi. He didn't just overcommit himself, and of course with his pace he was able to cut him off.
French against Hale. Goals have dried up in the second term. Hale tried to get it to Grant. Petrie soccers off the deck and kicks a goal. A relatively soft one. That won't please Dennis Pagan. The Blues have been so good in and around the contest this afternoon, but Kangaroos players got goal side of that one and just urged it through.
I thought David Hale did a good job in the ruck to contest. You can see it here. Pushes French under the ball, but then doubles up, gets the ball forward. Grant looking for a free kick to Petrie. Well done. Thought very quickly there, knowing that he wasn't going to be able to pick the ball up. Gee, Drew Petrie, disappointing year last year because 2003 was great. He needs to stand up again. Hopefully that can give him some confidence to turn it around.
Weight off. Eddie Betts on. Goes towards full forward. Picked up by Pratt. And the Roos are back in front. Prendergast again out of the middle. With monotonous regularity, Prendergast and Koutafidis. Good mark taken by Colbert at centre-half back.
How was that in the new rule, KB, that Colbert took the mark and Davies went to ground before he took it? Did he push off with his hands?
He just gave us all a rap before, Tony. Now you want to put the boots into us. Here's a chance for Petrie. Too much carry on the ball. His confidence will be high. Stands on 50. Just too slow.
That was
For some reason, he just didn't have that presence of mind that...
And Livingston's down.
Livingston might have hurt himself too. Now they've already lost Thornton to a knee injury.
And that was with the back body drop after the free kick was paid.
Gee. So they don't want to lose 2 key defenders, but he looks to be in some sort of trouble.
Well, that'd be tragic for Luke Livingston. He's had a tough run. He had a knee and a bowel injury in 2000.
Oh, that is.
Had a back injury last year.
He's in a lot of pain.
Wasn't even in the run of play. That's the most frustrating thing.
Drew
Livingston done here.
Well,
may have done it there.
Yeah,
there it was, the knee.
There it is. He's already grimacing. This is the second part of when he gets thrown off, but that's already gone.
Oh yeah, this is not going to help. Oh yeah, that left knee got caught underneath him as he came in to tackle. There it is there. Yep. Left knee and ankle. Oh. Well, that changes the complexity of the Carlton back line once again.
Carazzo with the ball, just spears the ball in. He was looking for Teague, and there's a courageous grab as well, taken by Nathan Thompson.
Tell you what, Dennis Pagan will want the stretcher out. This isn't helping Carlton having a player come off.
No, should have had the stretcher out straight away.
Just signal to get the stretcher because he's not going to come back on anyway.
Well, the man short here, the Kangaroos should make hay. And here's Petrie, has marked on his chest. So I'm not quite certain why the stretcher hasn't come out under those circumstances. That's a bit slack.
He would be ropeable, Dennis Pagan, because that's a part of professionalism. You have to get in control. While he's down, even if they kept him on the ground and kept him on the spot until they made a decision.
Just bring the stretcher out straight away. You can see he was in a lot of pain.
But the thing, if you keep him out there, KB, where it happened, it means that they're congested anyway, and there's trainers, there's everybody there. Well, I agree, they had to get the stretcher out.
It would have been better than walking off the ground or being carried off the ground as Drew Petrie has a second look at it and threw for a behind.
There's so much in our great game, isn't it, about discipline, and it could also work off the field if your staff isn't thinking right and they're not sharp, but that could have cost them a goal.
42 plays 38. 6-6 the Kangaroos, 5-8 the Blues. As Camporelli, designated kicker, finds DeLuca. Just come off the bench, went to centre-half forward, now strutting his stuff. In defence, goes wide, finds Lappin. The playmaker, the general of the midfield and halfback. Can he set it up? kick was too high. It was thumped away from Eddie Betts and finally forced over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Adrian DeLuca has gone to Drew Petrie at the moment. The Carlton players just amongst themselves trying to work out who's going to pick up who.
Morell's gone to
Well, Jared Waite's just come back onto the field and he's gone to centre half forward. So DeLuca obviously has gone back.
I'll get Favola back on. That's another big body as Eddie Betts comes off.
Yes. I think Favola's got to stay on the ground because we know he's a team lifter, Favola, isn't he? And he's quick and he can take a mark and kick a thumping goal. Here's a chance for Lappin. It was a look-away hand pass. It was well taken by Scotland. It kicks a poor one. Thumped away that time. No chance for Davies, and Brown over the top puts it over the boundary line. And Petrie comes off for a breather. And Big Sav comes back on. And here's you can see Favola has snuck onto the ground. And now Lee Brown has seen the danger and he's trotted back.
You can see what Dean Laidley's doing. He's got his biggest body straight back out on the ground, Sav Rocker. He knows the Carlton defence is stretched.
Taken away that time by Simpson. Lappin has been tremendous in this second term. Just setting up play, taken away by Scotland. And Brown comes out. Favola led to the forward pocket. And Brown just played the ball on its merits and has taken a very strong grab.
I don't know about Brendan Favola's body language at the moment, KB. Twice now he's led to the wrong area, but gee, you've got to get it involved and show some urgency in the game.
Well, that was one of his highlights during the Wizard Cup. He was chasing and tackling. I mean, he's improved in that area. I wouldn't be too harsh on him just at the moment. He came on, he tried to sneak onto the field and the ball didn't quite come to him, but I reckon he's a danger. Houlihan,
Favola in the play here. Runs down Daniel Pratt. Ball still alive for the Blues. Brown did well. Got it to Watt. 40 seconds left on the clock. Sinclair to Jones. Awkward. Puts him under pressure. Here's a chance for Brendan. Free kick.
Gee, I don't know whether that was accidental.
But it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
If it's high, it's high.
And I tell you, that was a dangerous time because you called it, Jason. 40 seconds left on the clock, or 28 now, and they were going to turn that ball over, the Kangaroos.
And it was just what Brendan Favola needed to turn his day around.
Yes.
Swoop on it, bang one through post height from 45 metres out. Give the Blues the lead at half-time. Could have turned things around.
What's going on here? Corey Jones, the umpire said, hurry up, but now he's gone and said, just go back behind the mark.
Blown time off. Clock starts again now. 16 seconds left. Shannon Watt should hang on to it. Be safe enough for the half-time break. Archer, 4 seconds remaining, has got a man out in space. You have to get it, kick it, take a mark quickly. Won't be able to do so as Pratt goes inside 50. Hit Grant on the chest, but time was up.
What an amazing game.
And the complexion of it has changed once again with Livingston out of the game. The Blues undermanned down back. Dean Laidley straight away got Rocker on there. He got Thompson on there. The Blues toyed with the idea of putting Carl Norman in this side. They left him out. He'd be pretty handy right now because they're using Adrian DeLuca down back. They don't want to move Prendergast. He's been so good up the ground. Lots for both coaches to think about at half-time. We'll be back to assess the first half. Look into the crystal ball. Half-time at the Telstra Dome. The Roos by 4 points. Just keep an eye on the Carlton backline.
Yeah,
We've got
Morell's gone down there.
Digby's gone down to
And
stand
DeLuca.
Rocker. And they are going to go with DeLuca because they don't want to lose the impetus of having Prendergast and Koutafidis in the centre square. They want to win the game, not save it.
But Adrian DeLuca wouldn't have played in defence a lot in his career, so Dennis Pagan has thrown down the gauntlet and said, there, boy, go into it, straight into the fire.
Prendergast and Koutafidis both starting in the centre square again. They've been so damaging in there. The Kangaroos just haven't been able to match them up as we start the third term. It's the Roos by 4 points. Fascinating contest to kick off season 2005 on Fox Footy. Thanks for having us at your place as we start the third term. McGrath wrapped up, going nowhere. Ferrito's got a piece of him. We'll have a secondary bounce.
The other thing, too, with two players down on the bench and they won't come back on the field is that it's a hotter day than we thought in Melbourne.
31 degrees,
So
Tony.
tested, yeah.
French, Petrie, Grant. Just the 6 touches for Shannon Grant so far, averaging 21 a game in 2004.
Just a minute, the attendance too, 40,266 now. One of the great things, I suppose, with Telstra Dome now, they actually count them as they come in, and you can have a running tally on just how many people are in the ground.
Prendergast on the bottom of that pack as well. Subiaco initiative originally did that, and it's a great idea if you're sitting in the crowd, takes all the guesswork out of it. And a gripping crowd, over 40,000.
Well, we don't see this very often, do we? The third bounce after that initial bounce of the third quarter. So let's see if the umpire pulls out a free kick or...
Has been a flat patch in modern football in recent years. Just that first 7 or 8 minutes after half-time. It's an important period if one side can seize the momentum. Simpson to Harvey, inside 50, and up goes Daniel Pratt with one hand.
He's been impressive too, Daniel Pratt.
Good story. Was at the Kangaroos. Was originally taken pick 42 back in season 2000. Spent 2 years at the Roos, 2001, 2002, without getting a game. Went up to Brisbane. Was on their rookie list for 2 years. Played 3 games in the middle of last year and is now back at Arden Street. So he's come a long way round, but now gets his chance back where it all started. From outside 50 to the top of the goal square. Numbers there for the Blues. Rocker again lurking dangerously. They take it through this time. But Dennis Pagan would have been having flashbacks to the first quarter when Rocker went up and marked in a similar position. So the opening score of the third term goes the way of the Kangaroos. They extend their lead to 5 points as Lappin brings it back into Koutafidis. Decides to go long towards the wings. Kicked it straight to Petrie. Couldn't quite take the mark. Numbers at ground level for the Blues. Simpson tries to hold it in. Could be in danger. Umpire lets it go. Still going. Still going, and eventually the umpire realises it's not going anywhere.
The other thing with the new rule, KB, is the crowd gets involved because they know it's under the pack, and then they yell ball, and on that occasion it didn't come out and the umpire bounces it, but it gets some crowd reaction.
Simpson, the third man up, so often the case for the Roos, but Stevens sharked it to Carazzo. Out in front of Prendergast. And Waite there as well for the Blues. Waite uses Scotland. Handball to Stevens. Stevens spears towards 50. Houlihan, the man.
Great kick.
Just had a couple of metres on Makepeace and it hit him lace out on the chest.
Well, Houlihan, just a fantastic kick from Nick Stevens. They worked a few handballs around. Heath Scotland knew he had a lack of leg speed, and he had Harvey really chasing him hard. Handballs back to Nick Stevens, who found Houlihan, who's a beautiful kick normally. You'd think he'd nearly convert from this position. But he's playing forward. He's normally been half-back for Carlton, so Dennis Pagan hasn't been afraid to throw him around and give some challenges to in different positions to some of his players.
It's been interesting. Makepeace has spent time forward, and now Houlihan has as well. So they're playing on each other at opposite ends of the ground throughout the day, both covering a lot of territory, racing up and down to run to position. Houlihan deliberate. As Waite and Pratt get to know each other a little better at the top of the goal square. Looks good. Is good. Blues back in front. 4 minutes gone, third term. Carlton 6-8-44. The Kangas 6-7-43.
Well, there's just a number of players that you feel very confident when they've got their ball in their hands, KB, and I think Ryan Houlihan's one of them. We can just see here.
Friction here too, Tony. Bit of friction in the goal square.
Saw Waite and Pratt before, just going on with it.
Pratt was up forward just before, so now he's gone back to defence. So again, both teams are throwing their players around. But gee, Ryan Houlihan, magnificent foot skills, and he just showed on that occasion.
It's a 1 point ball game. 44 plays 43. 6-8 to 6-7. Barnaby French just lines up Drew Petrie. Petrie to Grant. To Scotland. Now free kick will go to Petrie. Grant, I should say. So Shannon Grant from inside that centre square. Quick to get to boot onto his ball. Looks wide. Fine. Sinclair. Edge of the centre square. Thompson on a long lead. He's got DeLuca as his opponent. And Digby Morel has picked up Sav Rocker. Sinclair. Inside 50. Koutafidis on the stretch. I don't think he can jump anymore off the ground, Tony. A couple of times when he was up forward. Here's a big chance here. And a great grab taken by Archer in front. Kuta can stand his ground. He's got that body strength, but he can't really lift himself off the ground. Rawlings does well. Finds Daniel Wells. We know what happened last year when he... the MCG when he kicked a magnificent goal to win the game for the Kangaroos.
Almost the same position
right
here,
on the siren. Well, he was on the boundary line anyway. Came a different ground.
No, came in a little bit.
And he was confident too. As soon as he marked
almost
the ball,
exactly the same spot that the MCG
it didn't look like he was going to pass the ball off, so he's confident about kicking the goal here.
So Daniel Wells will kick from 55 metres out, leans back, unloads right to the line. Big fist away. Taken away that time by Lappin and pumps the ball back towards the half-back flank. Here's a great grab taken by McGrath. On the run and on the burst, hammers the ball back, looking for Favola. He's been beaten today by Lee Brown. Pratt goes to the ground and then bounces to his feet and bounces through the centre square and goes bang, finds Simpson. On the chest, the skipper goes wide. and finds Stevens. So rebound football by the Kangaroos. Spawn's coming off. Now he gets waved back into the action as Daniel Wells again has got it inside the centre square.
I'm just watching. Nathan Thompson has to get involved in the game on DeLuca.
Great kick by Daniel Wells. Found Ferrito across the body and just floated into his arms.
Adrian DeLuca is just running around running behind Nathan Thompson. Not even thinking about the proper positioning.
Ferrito has had the job picking up Koutafidis. Kouta's had it 18 times, 9 kicks, 9 handballs. He's also taken 3 marks and kicked the goal. Ferrito stands right on 50. Great kick. Big goal for the Kangaroos. They're back in front. 49 plays 44. And they just won't go away, the Kangaroos, Tony.
They won't, both these sides. I think it's going to go down to the wire, but Michael Ferrito, who has been tagging Koutafidis, been beaten at the stop plays. That's what you have to do. You've got to push forward. And Daniel Wells, a great kick across the ground as you call KB, but you have to finish off. He's kicked that from 55. He was confident like Wells on the other side of converting.
Leads changed so many times in this game. The biggest margin was 8 points. The Blues led midway through the second term. Now the Roos have it back once again. A 5-point advantage. 7.5 minutes gone third term. Stevens could be away here. Just fumbled at the crucial stage. Kept it in front of him. Gives himself another chance. Ferrito came through, laid body on body. Koutafidis stood tall in the tackle. Prendergast through Stevens to Houlihan.
He's got to come back. Yeah, to Prendergast. And they were running Carlton. They had 4 players around the ball. That's why the Blue supporters aren't happy.
One of the best games we've seen from, certainly halves of football we've seen from Ian Prendergast in his 50th game. It's been very influential on this contest. Favola's got 3 to beat in the air. French did the roving. Whitnell, Bannister, chance now for Scotland, can get it and go. On the left from 55, towards the top of the square. 2-on-1 in favour of the Roos. Archer goes back and makes sure that ball gets to the line.
They can't just, both sides cannot get easy goals, can they? Like, you know, get someone on the lead to get 3 quick, easy goals to break the game apart. Just the numbers are pushing up and down the ground.
Frustrating day for Brendan Favola. Hasn't been able to get one out with his opponent at all. The one time he did, he kicked a goal. Simpson. Handball to Grant, now back to Simpson. Under pressure. High ball. Camporelli and Rawlings under this. Favola and Brown in there as well. Favola collapses in on top of the pack. Have a ball up 55 metres out from the Carlton goal.
Just the 2 kicks of that man on screen. Brendan Favola kicked the goal in the first quarter.
Petrie. Koutafidis again from the stoppage. Handball went nowhere though. Brown gathers, flips it over the top. Petrie. Long kick round the city wing. It's a 2-on-2 at the front of the contest. T committed himself. His man stayed down, Jones. It worked out well for the Roos. Awkward kick for Stevens. Kept his eyes on the ball. Can chip it over the top. Didn't spot Makepeace. Went longer to 1-on-1. Morel and Rocker. Morel did well.
Oh.
He is undersized, Digby Morel, 1-on-1 with Severio Rocker, somewhere in the vicinity of probably 15 kilos.
Seth should have taken the mark. He got him out of the way. He just dropped it. He had him.
And I'll tell you what, there was other players on in the forward 50 mark too when Stevens kicked that ball forward.
Rocker doing the ruck work, being sharked this time by McGrath. Hammers the ball back. Ooh. Late on the scene that time is Favola. And Brown, who's played a mighty game on Favola today, takes the grab. Kicked 6 goals in the opening game last year. Now finds himself in defence against the gun Favola. Kangaroos just finding space. Rawlings. Pratt wants it. He's been ignored. A couple of Carlton players just starting to jog. I noticed young Waite then allowed this man Pratt to just run hard into the pocket, and there he is. He had him. He was within 5 metres and didn't chase him. And it's been set up. Here's a short kick. Chance for the Kangaroos. Squeezed up on the boundary lines. We see Teague's happy to force the ball over the line for a boundary throw in. You've got to go hard, Tony. No matter how tired you are, you've got to push yourself to get alongside them.
Well, you've got to be goal side. That's what you have to do. That'll stop your opponent running on the first occasion.
Rocker takes the front position. Didn't quite get his hands on the ball. Ferrito does. This man can. Wells!
Great goal.
What a player! Daniel Wells is a young superstar, and he has strutted his stuff today. He's been a mighty player for the Kangaroos.
Well, just sometimes in football you see talent which is above everybody else, don't you? And we know that this man's got it, but he didn't have a lot of time here. Ferrito again from the stoppage. One step or two steps to the left, Kudafiti's lunging in the tackle, but his awareness of where the goals are was just fantastic. And Ferrito gave Kudafiti something back that he's been doing to him at the stop play. Magnificent snapshot from Daniel Wells.
Biggest margin of the game now, 11 points to the Roos, midway through the third term. Carlton need a lift. It's been a taxing game. A lot of running involved, a lot of hard running as both sides flood back. Very warm conditions.
I think there's a few tired players already, Tony, during this third term. Just not quite as sharp at running and picking up.
Camporelli gives away an undisciplined one.
Now, I don't know about Scott Camporelli. The role you've got to do with Scott Camporelli, I think, is to put him forward. Take Rawlings out of the game and try and kick a goal on him, because it's not working around general play now. Rawlings
to Harvey. Bannister closed late. Didn't go hard at the ball, Bannister. I'm not sure if he's okay. Watt spears it inside 50. DeLuca went to fist. Rocker bumped out of it by McGrath. Here's Wells again from 48 metres on the boundary line to the top of the square. Petrie there. It clears the contest. Lappin at the back. Has to go himself. Scotland comes through and saves the day for the Blues. Teague. Favola's got 2 to beat. Brown has been his master so far this afternoon.
Well, he's very quick, Lee Brown. Very quick. I always thought he was a fine young player when he was with the Dockers. He was being a good pick-up by the Kangaroos, and he can really settle into a key position.
Thompson off. Hale on for the Roos. You see there at the bottom of your screen. 10.5 minutes remaining until three-quarter time. The Blues need a lift. They need a spark.
Oh, Eddie Betts has come off the interchange.
Paddled it to the advantage of Houlihan. 2-on-1. Whitnell gets it to ground. Here's Davies, the crummer. On the right boot. Dribbles it across the face of goal. And misses.
That's his second opportunity to kick a goal, Davies. Just don't know whether he had enough poise on both occasions to take another step to balance. But gee, they're getting numbers back. You saw that 2-on-1 contest, Whitnell there against 2 Kangaroos players.
Sinclair to bring it back in. The game really has stagnated since quarter time. Carlton 3 goals since quarter time. The Roos have kicked 5. Ferrito up over the top. Here's Davies again. Won't get through that traffic. Bannister in there. Archer
Good
to
kick.
make peace. And now a chance for the Roos. Harvey has to sit and wait. Puts his foot on the gas. Spears it forward for territory. DeLuca did well. That's a better matchup for Dennis Pagan. DeLuca on Hale. Probably just looks a bit better than DeLuca on Thompson. Thompson with the smarts.
Well, Thompson came off for Hale, so they're just trying someone different because Thompson never touched the ball. But I'll be taking DeLuca back to the square. You get a lot more nervous closer to goal if you haven't played there before.
Got to give a pat on the back to Shannon Watt also. He's had a good game on Whitnell. And Lee Brown, the 2 defenders, they've had the big jobs today in trying to harness Lance Whitman and also Brendan Favola.
Free kick
They've
here
done
to
well.
Kangaroos.
Good to see Shannon Watt also. He's had it 12 times and he's taken also 6 marks. Here's a chance for Rawlings. Wasting no time. Rocker from behind. And
Good
getting
mark.
back is Lappin. Can he take a mark for his inches? Matthew Lappin.
Well, Michael Stevens had the job of tagging, and it's a free kick going back to Morrell against Sav Rocker. But he's had the job of tagging Matthew Lappin as a small forward. So, you know, Lappin still had a fair bit of the ball. That was his 13th possession, or he's had 13 possessions.
Morrell just toe pokes it wide, looking for Teague. Strong overhead. He's across half back. 6-9-45 the Blues. They trail by 10 points. The Kangaroos 8-7-55. Is Brown playing in front of Favola. Taken away that time by Stevens. Rockets the ball back. Taken by Colbert. Goes short.
Whoop.
Stevens runs into a roadblock in the shape of Eddie Betts, who's off and running. Eddie Betts trying to set it up. Been taken away that time by Lappin. Goes short. He was looking for Favola. Again, too much carry on the ball. Taken away by Petrie. So rebound now by the Kangaroos. The old stage of the veteran, the shin boner of the century. Archer comes away from half-back, goes short, shares the ball around to Rawlings.
Getting too many numbers free now, the Kangaroos.
Just look to have a little bit more run than the Blues. We've played nearly 16 minutes into this third term. Kangaroos by 10 points. Colbert just slowing things down, just wanting to set something up. Archer just keeping off the mark piece. It was a poor kick. Taken away by Whitnell. Across half back. Now to centre forward for Vola.
Well done, Pratt.
Pratt was very brave. Brown was very good. Corey Jones dumped in the tackle that time by Heath Scotland. Standing his ground that time was Petrie. Toe pokes it to Piccioni. First game for the Kangaroos from the Hawks. Beautiful kick. And finds Harvey. Marks in front of Bannister. He's had the job.
Corey
Jones
Jones.
shut down Brent Harvey, and Corey Jones runs hard inside the centre square. Big Sav says kick it high. Here comes Daniel Wells. Got an ugly bounce, and Teague is happy to take the ball over for a toss back in.
Full forward at the moment, Daniel Wells, isolating McGrath.
He is, and the left footer, it helps you sometimes, but Corey Jones then didn't look over to the right-hand side. There was 3 Kangaroos outside the 50-metre arc, only because he wanted to get on the favourite left foot.
Chance for the Kangaroos, boundary throwing right on 50. DeLuca beaten that time, thumped forward by Ferrito, taken by Jones, dumped heavily by Stevens, and he'll take the free kick.
Good pick up, KB. Must have, after he got rid of the ball, he must have been dumped.
Correct.
And Nick Stevens there, he said, yep, there's the umpire showed, he handball, and you just dumped him to the ground after he handballed. That has to be a free kick. Undisciplined.
Well, they lead by 10 points. This to extend it to 16. 17.5 minutes played in this third term. Just keep on coming, the Kangaroos, as Big Sav takes a breather. Harris comes on. They work very hard. It's very hot. 31 degrees. Over 40,000 fans to see this opening game of the season live and exclusive on Fox Footy right around the country. And the Kangaroos are taking on the Mighty Blues.
It's taking a lot of time to kick on goal, isn't it? It's like Matthew Lloyd at his best.
Can he kick it, Tony, for the old shin bone? It's a beautiful kick, and that's why you take your time. Straight through the centre, and Corey Jones kicks a goal, and it's the Kangaroos. 61 to 45, the lead by 16 points.
A little bit undisciplined there from Nick Stevens, who's had 12 possessions himself. But Corey Jones, we're talking about a key forward kicking the 3 goals to break the game open. It's been the midfielders, Ferrito, Wells and Jones now as a ruck rover, who have pushed forward. You're right, KB, they look tired, some of the Kangaroo forwards. They haven't chased. And a number of their players, the Carlton forwards. And a number of their players are getting through the midfield just with too much ease at the moment.
Question squarely at the feet of Carlton now. They trail by 16 points. They need a spark. Prendergast gone into the ruck. Barnaby French went to full forward for a spell to give him a rest. And he's now off the ground, having a complete rest. So Prendergast jumped early. Petrie got it out of the middle to Rawlings. The Roos are making their move. Lappin is the man standing tall.
That's little 50 metres to take him after he marked the ball.
Done a couple of very important things in this third term, Matthew Lappin. Here's Scotland. The Blues want to generate some run. Up the middle to Prendergast. Back now to Scotland. Favola leads up the middle, goes shorter than that. Eddie Betts read the crumb. On the left boot, inside 50. Davies going back with the flight, won't get there. And Watt picks it off again.
This is one of his best ever games, I reckon. Shannon Watt, he's taken 7 marks. He's had it 13 times. And he's on a very good player at Whitnell.
And there's runners.
Yet again on his own. And he's got Petrie miles in the clear at 45 metres out. Steps inside Prendergast. In the end, he thought about it too much.
Gee, Corey Jones. Drew Petrie, some of his thought process, you just can't believe. Just looks like he's lacking a little bit of fitness in it. I think, like you say, Kay, with his first game, players sometimes lose the plot and go too hard too early.
He did well to actually make contact with the ball.
He couldn't lift his foot.
Well, let's say he might need a bit of work on his non-preferred side.
Over the back of the contest. Here's a chance for the Roos again. Harvey. Taken down.
Held
Scotland.
for a long time. He was held for a long time too, Harvey. He looked at the umpire.
Carazzo. Now Scotland. Again, the Blues just not with the same direction and purpose they displayed through the Wizard Cup, where they moved the ball so quickly. So direct. Lappin. Centre wing. Where's it going to come from for Carlton? Where's the run? Where's the spark? Out wide. Whitnell the target at 50. Underneath it. Favola went to ground. Archer gets back. Betts gets a piece of him. And Brown happy to take it to the line.
Well done, Lee Brown, because he had he looked at the umpire thinking, oh, I've got a free kick against me, but that was well disguised. He's just thinking the right way at the moment, playing the percentages.
16 points the margin. It's a big lead in the context of this game. It's been a low-scoring arm wrestle.
They need a lift from Brendan for bowl on the Blues.
Whitnell in the ruck. Betts to run onto it. They need something special. Can Eddie deliver? Have a look at that for the first goal of your career. What a beauty! Eddie played the cards and came up trumps.
Well, Dennis Pagan told me on radio recently that Eddie Betts has got something special, that he can do things that some players can't do and won't be able to do. And he's only had a few moments on the ground right throughout this game, even though it's the third quarter. He hasn't played many minutes, but I mean, that was a magnificent piece of roving and a great snap.
Well, his front and centre work in this short period of time on the ground has been something that shows that ability. And Troy Makepeace then will know you've got to stay goal side, because he just followed him to that contest.
16 minutes of league football in his career, and he's already made the highlights packages.
Well, it'll be the goal of the round so far. The Kangaroos, it's a 10-point ball game. That just might be the catalyst to lift the Blues. Kangaroos keep on coming. Is danger. Grant wanted to feign the kick, gets around DeLuca and kicks a goal. No. Digby Morrell desperate on the goal.
Hold on, it's coming back, no point. The umpire said Shannon Grant ran too far.
Wow.
He hesitated, didn't he? He was going to kick it, and then he held on to it and went again.
He did, but gee, that...
He went to feign the kick.
Take the ball.
No score.
By real estate off the umpire.
DeLuca. Inside defensive 50. Kicks a high ball. Getting back is Colbert. Will take an easy grab. It's been good too. Defence has been very good for the Kangaroos.
Fantastic.
As we say, Lee Brown and Shannon Watt throw in Lee Colbert. They've been probably unlikely stars for the Kangaroos as Thompson spears it in and finds Shannon Grant.
A hard shot for a left footer, but if anybody can do it, this man can. And he's so intelligent with his use of the ball.
Ferrito is out wide. He's especially hiding behind the umpire. You have to kick it right across the face of goals to get to Ferrito.
I think Shannon's good enough to kick this if he has a shot on goal.
Makes a lead. Shannon Grant says, I'll trust this trusty boot, I should say. Here's a chance to Harris. Desperate play. Dives on the ball. Quick hands. Trying to find Harvey. Fresh air shot. Good defensive play by the Blues. Forces the ball over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Stats all balanced towards the Roos in this quarter. Possession 63 to 43. Marks 29 to 9 in favour of the Roos as they chip it around. And inside 50s 14 to 7.
Big chance for the Kangaroos. Taken away by Koutafidis. Finds Prendergast. The run comes Morrell with quick hands to Scotland. Now the charge is on. Carlton Rd. Players that run hard. Kicks the ball down. In 50, out comes that time. It was Houlihan, thumped to the ground. Good defensive play by Archer. Cleaned up by Sinclair. They've been very good in defence, the Kangaroos. And finds Pachoni. Now the rebound once more. Goes wide. Sav Rock as the target. Got it.
Too big for Carrazzo.
Jones wants it short. Bit slow to react that time. Big Sav. He might go for the big torp here, Tony. Put it in the goal square.
Might be out of distance for Big Sav in the way he kicks the ball.
Ferrito. Trying to set it up. Shannon Grant pushing and shoving with Teague.
Oh, nearly a free kick.
Harvey goes to ground. Over the top that time. And Koutafidis wants a free kick. And he's got it.
Gee, the next goal is so big in the context of this game, isn't it? Especially if it can come before three-quarter time.
Possession number 22 to Koutafidis. Goes wide. Was looking for weight. He had two to beat. Got the hand in the back.
If you have a look in general play, though, the Kangaroos have got a lot more numbers around the ball at any contest. And that's normally a sign that it's going to break open very shortly.
Thompson back on the ground. Inside the centre square. Simpson. Didn't read it well, and Koutafidis. He's been magnificent today for the Blues. Lappin caught in trouble. Backtracks to Koutafidis. Wants to set it up short. The kick's a poor one. Heath Scotland's got to go hard. Harris. Put his body on the line. Harvey goes to ground. Wells with pace, accelerating pace. Daniel Wells. Can you believe it? The young man's done it again. Bangs it home. Magnificent play by Daniel Wells. We are looking at a star.
a start.
How's that for pace, Tony?
Well, that was amazing, because I know Anthony Koutafidis has lost a lot of pace, but he's picked it up one hand, and then he ran at goal, but he didn't kick it straight, KB. He's put the ball across his body, and we can see it here. He's kicked that on the bottom of the ball like a boomerang. Just an amazing effort and great conversion, but that might have been the one. We're just saying they were having numbers at the ball. At every contest, it was normally 2 Kangaroos to 1, but don't you you'd go a long, long way to watch a player with talent like Daniel Wells.
Well, I don't know whether... I know Aaron Davey is very quick for Melbourne. I'm not quite certain he'd be as quick as Daniel Wells. Daniel Wells, that
was brilliant from...
That acceleration then was exhilarating.
Pachoni. The Roos back out to a 16-point margin. The Blues with it all to do. Pratt thumps it inside 50. They must hold here, Carlton. Jones, important tackle from Carazzo. Out in front of Teague. Jones will go again. From 35 again, Carazzo lays the tackle.
Well done.
Koutafidis the fend off. And they slip away. DeLuca. Camporelli, that was an important play. And Waite has it backward of the wing. Now Camporelli. It's the most room he's got away from Rawlings all day.
Bad kick.
Kick didn't have any penetration on it. Eddie Betts. It's one of those names, isn't it? It's not Betts, it's Eddie Betts. It seems to run together. Eddie Betts.
Free kick too high in the tackle.
55 out, spears it inside. Whitnell, never a chance to mark. Houlihan at the back could make something happen, but Archer stripped him of it. Hale in there working hard. Flips it out. The Blues with numbers again. Waite through traffic on the left. Snaps and misses. Jeez, we've seen some goals in this third term.
We nearly saw a Wells effort there too, because he picked the ball up and he's 6'3", with Daniel Wells about 5'11", 6 foot.
15 points the margin. A minute remaining till three-quarter time. Sinclair says, I'll hold it up. We're all tighter on that now. Used to be 15 seconds, now it's 10, and you're called to play on immediately. Chips it short to Pratt. He too will use up his allotment of time. Back to Sinclair.
They know, they've been told just to hold the ball now. Nothing stupid, don't give away a goal so late in the quarter.
The Blues need to react quicker than this. They need to be manning up. What? Make peace. Here's Betts. Can't quite get there.
No, it had to be a mark. This is why I like to see that kicking backwards rule come in, KB, to the real foot. That'll make it exciting. You can't freeze the ball in the last couple of seconds.
Michael Stevens is on his own on centre wing.
Hopefully you'll push that up this next year.
The Blues just running out of toe at the moment to actually go with their men, and Stevens takes the mark. 10 seconds remaining. You'll be happy to hang on to it. And they'll take a 15-point lead to the final change, which in the context of this game is a pretty handy one. Sinclair in the middle, hands off to Grant. Siren will beat the kick, and it is three-quarter time. The Kangaroos adding 4 goals, 1 in that term. Carlton adding 2 goals, 2. It's the Kangaroos 10-7-67, Carlton 7-10-52. Final change at the Telstra Dome in front of more than 40,000 fans. 2 goals each to Wells and Rocker. Wells' 2 goals, absolutely breathtaking in that third term. Singles to Stevens, Petrie, Jones, Ferrito, Harvey and Hale. While for the Blues, Waite has 2. The rest are all singles. The Blues with some work to do as we head to the final change. It's the Kangaroos 10-7-67, Carlton 7-10-52 on Fox Footy. Just changing the mix, Dennis Pagan. We'll soon find out if it works. Whitnell on Nathan Thompson. And DeLuca, as I mentioned, starting inside 50. Shannon Watt, his opponent. As we start the final term, the Blues trail by 15 points. Petrie in the ruck for the Roos. Houlihan got boot to ball. Waite couldn't quite get the hands free. Grant went off the deck. They pile in on top of it. They'll have a secondary bounce.
Even that first bounce, we saw Jarrad Waite, what he does so well. He gets into the square and his ground level works good. The handball got intercepted, but that's what he's got, a very good strength in his game.
Anthony Koutafidis leads the game with 25 possessions. 18 to Scotland, 17 to Lappin, 14 to Prendergast for the Blues. Grant adds another to his tally. Takes him up to 12. In a wide open space. Awkward bounce for the 2 Kangaroos, and the ball's still alive. Spawn, good tackle. Fierce. Trent Spawn had some momentum running onto the football. He was wrapped up by Nathan Thompson.
As that ball went out to the wing, you could see Pachoni and Stevens were the 2 in the frame, in the TV frame. That meant they're running harder at the moment, the Kangaroos.
Ejected looking Carlton bench at the moment. Piccioni in the bottom of that pack. Prendergast has been good around the clinches today. Ferrito, quick hands to Sinclair. Turned it over to McGrath. The Blues need the first goal. They've got to get some spark. Get this big crowd up and going. McGrath to 50. Favola caught behind. 2-on-1. It spills to the back for Favola. Goes with it and gets it. That's what they needed, a spark. And who better than Brendan Favola? All important first goal, and suddenly the margin back to 9 points.
Well, Lee
Brown,
Brown,
he worked his way to the front.
and he missed the mark.
He just couldn't quite keep that ball in front of him.
They outnumbered him again because it was Lee Brown, and I think it was Petrie was down there too. But they just couldn't. You can see Petrie in front. Lee Brown maybe had to stay on Favola's back, but he did miss the mark. He should have taken. He knows that. And Favola, we said he needed to lift. Well, hopefully that will lift the Blues, and they're back in this game.
They're within 9 points. 2 goals to Brendan Favola. That's team lifting stuff. First 2 minutes of play in this final term, the opening game of the season, coming to you live and exclusive right around the country on Fox Footy, in front of just over 40,000 fans. Prendergast, desperate play at ground level to French, to Scotland. Some spring in the step now for Carlton. Goes wide, looking for Davies, pushes Pratt off the contest, keeps alive with Eddie Betts. Kicked a great goal in that third term, looking for that time the spawn. Too much carry on the ball, taken away by Makepeace. Finds Petrie. Good defensive play that time by Favola. Let him go back, kick over the
Shannon Grant's on the wing, KB.
Comes from Ferrito, and Grant is a playmaker and a general, and spears the ball into Rocker. Drops a sitter. Digby Morrell tries to slap the ball out. Grant, desperate play on hands and knees to the goal kicker in Harvey. Rockets the ball across, getting back is Wells. Couldn't take it, still a chance for the Kangaroos. Paddling the ball along is Piccioni. Forced to the ground that time by McGrath, and we've got a boundary throw in. Sav Rocker.
Oh, should have marked it. Look at this, you could not drop a mark like this if you tried 100 times. What happened there, KB?
Got no
Like the
idea.
concrete
I just
hands.
can't believe that you could possibly drop a mark like that. Boundary throw in, still a chance for the Kangaroos. Piccioni caught in the tackle by French. Good enough to get his boot to the ball. Here's a chance for Morrell this time, and he's happy to just force the ball through for Abraham. I think what happens, Tony, you take it so easy. You don't have strong eyes on the ball, and you take your eyes off the ball, and as a result, you don't see it going into your hands. Camporelli thumps the ball wide, looking for French on the stretch. He's got it. Now here comes Kuda.
Kudafiti's through the middle of the ground, goes looking for Davies. Pratt comes over the top, recovered the better. Here's Betts at the back to keep it alive for the Blues. Makepeace there for the Roos. He'll take it to the line, throw in as we head down to Glenn Manton.
We saw some vision recently of Glenn Archer getting his calves rubbed on the boundary line. Again, another case of cramp. It looks like players may have underestimated the hard surface and the temperature of the day. A lot of glucose tablets being consumed, a lot of fluids, players trying to get through this last quarter.
The new Nilix clock here at the Telstra Dome with a thermometer. It says inside about 20 degrees, outside 31. So the ground temperature somewhere in between. Houlihan from 60. Squares it up, wait the target at the front against Colbert. Went to ground. Here's a chance for the Roos now. Colbert pressured from behind. Advantage free kick. Brown.
Gee, Shannon Grant again. I don't know who's playing on Grant.
Favola putting in the big ones to try and get him.
Good chasing.
Good effort. Grant goes inside 50 and Thompson. Good mark on the stretch.
Someone has to tighten up on Shannon Grant. That's the third time he's run hard to the wing on the rebound and been given 30 metres.
The Blues are 2 men down. And what that means, obviously, Tony, is you can't rotate your interchange bench as much. And on a day like today, that's costly. Kangaroos have made 42 interchanges today. Carlton just 21.
Well, that stands out. But I think Jordan Bannister, who's a good tagging player, I think he's on the bench with Nick Stevens. You've got to think about bringing one of them on.
Well, they do exactly that now. Bannister on, Prendergast off. Short pass, loose checking. And Sinclair will go back. Similar angle. Lesser distance. He's about 30 to 35 metres out in that pocket.
Left footer, so the ball will come across the face of the goal. Probably the hardest spot for a left footer to kick a goal from there. But he is a talented player. Again, just those signs. If you can get a player into there, KB, the legs. Looks like the Blues are running out of legs.
Well, he's a hard runner, Jess Sinclair. Comes down from half back. He's had it 19 times. He's taken 9 marks. He's been their leading possession winner.
Just have to check with Glenn Manton too to see if Nick Stevens is injured or something might have happened to him, because why wouldn't you have your premier player on the ground?
10 points the margin, this to extend it to 16. Looks good.
Well done.
Beautiful kick from Jess Sinclair. And that one stings. He gets his first. The Roos get their 11th. The margin back out to 16 points. We've played 6.5 minutes final term.
Well, like I said, if you can get into that slot and do it quite easily as Jess Sinclair, someone isn't tuned in. You know, either mentally or physically you can't go. As we go to the bench again, looks like Nick Stevens is coming on the ground now. Spawn off. But that is a fantastic kick of the ball, Jess Sinclair. Someone should have been manning up, or he just run the lines too hard and they couldn't cope with it.
11-8-74 the Kangaroos, 8-10-58 Carlton. As the Kangaroos continue to apply pressure, they trail by a point at quarter time. They led by 4 points at half time. They extended to 15 points at 3/4 time. And now they lead by 16. 40,345 fans in at the Dome today. We've got a ball up on the edge of the centre square. Kangaroos by 16 points. Farito thumps the ball down, taken by Carazzo to the half-forward line, looking for DeLuca, running with the flight of the ball. Ugly bounce. Camporelli thought he had it and lost it. Looking for the umpire, thought maybe a shove out. Davies wants the free kick. Simpson at the bottom of the pack, and somehow the Kangaroos force the ball forward. Piccioni, and the run will come from Rawlings.
Oh, he's cramped up.
He either half slipped or he stubbed his toe.
He's cramped up, KB.
And again, Thompson marks in front of Whitnell. 75 metres out, looking for Rocker. Oh, what a grab! Big save up and away. Unselfish play. He's going to run in. And this is Corey Jones and bangs it through.
What a mark! Gone up and he's taken it one-handed.
One-handed.
On top of the shoulders. Sad Rocker. And good play to get the ball on quickly to Corey Jones to finish off.
Team lifting stuff. He's turned back the clock.
Here it is.
After dropping the sitter a couple of moments ago.
He had his arm held by Digby Morrell, so he couldn't get the other hand up, and poor David Teague.
That was his problem before. Take one-handers.
Look at this.
Anyone can mark two-handed.
And just to have the look at there, Corey Jones was thinking, here it is again. One hand held by Digby Morrell. That's as good as you'll see. And he plays on quickly. Smart thinking, because that's a hard spot to convert from there too.
And Corey Jones could see it was on.
Pleading for the ball like Kevin Bartlett of old.
Good play.
22 points now. The Roos have cracked this one open.
I like the boy.
Blues would need something special from here. Throwing decision. It's going Carlton's way. They need to hit back. Anthony Koutafidis, possession number 28 coming up for Kouta. Camporelli. They're the names that are going to have to do it for the Blues.
Oh, pushing the back. New rule, you can't do that. Young Daniel Pratt just lost his run at the ball, and Davies stymied his run at the ball so that he had to get into his back.
The Blues are going to take their chances from here. Davies needs to go back and slot this with 9.5 minutes gone in the final term. Test his distance. Needs to go back and make good contact. He's kicked 2 behinds this afternoon. But he's a good kick. Just pulled it left.
Tide kick, wasn't it? Tide kick. The temperature here in Melbourne today, 30 degrees or close to, and amazingly these players will be feeling the pinch now.
Makepeace to bring it back into play. 21 points the margin. Short to the pocket and finds Piccioni. Now over the top, Makepeace, the give and get, run down by Favola. It had support in the form of Colbert. Out wide, we've got loose men everywhere. Farito and Brown. We'll start to see the symptoms from just after half-time when the Blues started to tag off their men. Just running out of legs. Whitnell harassed Thompson out of it. Farito got a piece of him. DeLuca got the hands free, released it to Bannister. Now for the Blues. Houlihan has it 55 out. Turns, looks for an option. Favola up the middle. Colbert desperate, did well.
Free kick
and
to
won
Colbert.
himself a free kick for in the back.
Great call, Jason, and fantastic play, Lee Colbert. We talked about Archer and Colbert before the game and the courage. He knew he was going to get belted, but just put his fist in, and Favola went over his back. Well done. Look at this for courage. You know you're going to get hurt. That's the thing.
Colbert to Piccioni. Around the city wing. Thompson's hands have been good. DeLuca did enough to hassle him off at that time. Bannister. Handball missed the body of Teague. Under some pressure. Taken down without the ball. Surely umpire. Koutafidis. Stevens. Handball over the top. Crashing through was Ferrito. Nick Stevens still has it in front of him. Will go again. Had some protection there in the form of Morrell. To half forward. Houlihan. Socks down. Looking tired. Inside 50. Davies lunge. Couldn't hang on. Archer to tidy up for the Roos. And the veteran, as Pratt puts down Davies and gives away a free kick.
When you're in control of the ball, you've got to avoid contact as much as possible. I think the umpire said it was too far away from the ball.
I've got an ex-coach on both sides of me here in the commentary box, and as one, you just shook your head and knew the frustration that Dennis Pagan would be feeling right now.
Well, I don't know
Rather
about
Dean Laidley.
Dean Laidley would be, yes, because they're nearly sewing the game up. And to give a free kick like that just gets them back into the game as weight comes off the ground. Prendergast on.
Better for distance, tougher angle, but it was the really was the distance last time that worried him with the tired legs.
Well, it's only accuracy now.
This to keep the door ajar for the Blues. 21 points the margin. 12 and a half minutes gone. Davies needs to slot it from the angle. And does. The Blues are still alive at the Telstra Dome. The margin back to 15 points. 12-8 to 9-11.
Well, we didn't see it on screen. Hopefully we do get a replay of it, but it was that far away from the ball. You just, when you're in control, you've got to avoid body contact as much as possible because you've got the flow of play, but no, it wasn't to be. Daniel Pratt has made a couple of mistakes in the last 5 minutes, so just needs to steady up now.
The ball went to Glenn Archer. Pratt basically just put an unnecessary shepherd on, but in the process just got his hand up above the shoulder, gave away the free kick.
Well, you've got to avoid it. Like I said, you don't need to make contact because the ball was that far away from Archer anyway, and the Kangaroos had numbers on the outer side. He'll learn from that Daniel Pratt, but it gets the Blues back into the game.
Simpson's off the skipper, getting some sort of treatment and stretching on the boundary line. Daniel Wells has come on for the Kangaroos. Kicked 2 great goals. Here's a chance. The Blues have a sniff. Carazzo goes wide. Prendergast has just come off the interchange bench, running with the flow of the ball. Puts his body over the line. Desperate play that time by Colbert. He put it straight back over the line.
And a free kick again.
A free kick just for courage.
I never doubt Lee Colbert in that area, KB.
Colbert wants a big transfer of play. He wants to. Piccioni was out wide. He's elected to not kick it actually to Piccioni. He's gone wider again to Grant, who's played on that wing in this last quarter. Doesn't seem to have an opponent. Makepeace did it well. Good presence of mind. Time for some think music. Along the boundary line, squeezed up, and he spears it into the chest of Big Sav Rocker. Could he unload here, Tony?
Well, he can. He'll make the distance. If he wants to have a shot on goal instead of passing off, he will make the distance. And again, he looks confident.
Gone back a long way, hasn't he? Setting himself.
They lead by 15 points, the Kangaroos. We have played 14 and a half minutes into this final term. Big Sav, there's the angle. It's a great camera shot. We'll follow it all the way as Big Sav from 55 metres unloads. It's going! It's going! It's gone! Big Sav has kicked a big goal.
Well, Big Sav, he's done it all. He's set up the goal of Corey Jones that we thought really sealed the game for the Kangaroos, but that might have been it. Just a beautiful kick from... They've had too many players out in that wing free by 20 or 30 metres that you know that Carlton are feeling the pinch now. Just cannot go with the running power of the Kangaroos. Well, as I always said, Big Sav outside 50. See the foot up there? Oh, the foot went over his head. That's the way. He loves kicking from that distance, Big Sav. And he's enjoying it. And so he should, because his career looked like it was down the tube the year ago, KB. And
no, he's turned back the clock. He's turned back the clock, Tony.
He was in the VFL until round 8 last season. Got his chance and grabbed it with both hands, and he's booted 3 this afternoon. Hasn't had to grab him with both hands this afternoon. He's done most of his work with one hand.
Yeah.
That was a magnificent mark, wasn't it, before?
21 points the margin. 15 and 3/4 minutes gone, final term. The Blues would need 4 goals from here. Still plenty of time. They just need to put a couple together back to back. Get that spark. Get the excitement and the belief. Here's Stevens. What can he manufacture? Inside 50. It'll pitch at Prendergast's ankles. Did well to keep it in front of himself. Handball to Whitney was a little sloppy. Put the big man under pressure. Watt did well. He kept his feet, but gave it to Favola. Out of midair. High ball. They'll come from everywhere. Big pack at ground level. Bet somehow came up with it. Gave it over the top, and it's a goal at Scotland. Eddie Betts has bobbed up. There's about 6 players in that pack. That ball was heading in any direction you like, and Eddie Betts swooped in one motion and created a goal for Heat Scotland.
Well, Eddie Betts, too many Kangaroos players up. You know what they were trying to do, 3-1, and that meant someone was going to be ground level. And Eddie Betts meant to kick the ball to Heat Scotland. People might have said, oh, he pulled his kick and it came off the side of the boot, but you could just see the vision. He looked inside and Scotland ran onto it. But, gee, his front and centre work has been brilliant in the second half.
Summed it up in a heartbeat, didn't he? He literally had a split second to make a decision.
Yep. That's not a good. That's not a good.
15 points, Tony. They won't go away the Blues.
Well, that's not a good matchup. Glenn Archer on Eddie Betts, because you know Archer's courage. He'll just go for every mark he can.
Petrie doing the ruck work and the roving. Kicks a high ball, still inside the centre square. Grant nearly pinched it. Petrie again working hard to Rawlings. A touch of the fumble. It's been a long day in the field. It's been hot and it's been tough. Makepeace, edge of the centre square, just sharing the ball around. Finds Stevens. Kangaroos by 15 points. The Blues just keep on coming. Goes wide. Beautiful kick. And Harvey without breaking stride. Now this is where Sav kicked his last goal. Harvey says, I'll take you on. I'll back my pace. And now finds Thompson, who's actually been good in this last quarter.
Yeah, he gives you another marking target, doesn't he, Nathan Thompson? Now, if you think about kicking from long distances, Nathan Thompson can kick it nearly as far as Sav Rocker and probably just as good as kick. But the angle's a bit very tight. Just have to wait and see. It is on the right side for a right footer. Pachani looks like he's coming off carrying an arm injury.
He's taken 3 marks in this final term, Nathan Thompson. So in his first game for the Kangaroos, he's got this important kick from 45 metres out. Nathan Thompson straight through the centre. The Kangaroos again lead by 21 points. Can the Blues come back? Is there any petrol left in the tank, Tony?
Well, we say it and they just keep scoring when you think that this game's over. But Nathan Thompson, gee, they're 2 big targets, aren't they? Rocker and Thompson, they can stay up all year. And they're hard match-up targets. DeLuca's gone back into the defence and he's playing on Nathan Thompson now. I don't think that suits DeLuca, but they've got a number of players out.
10 individual goal kickers now for the Kangaroos.
Gee, they're taking their chances too, aren't they, in the final term, making it very difficult for the Blues to fight their way back.
Sav Rocker's got 3 goals, 2 goals to Daniel Wells, 2 to Corey Jones, and for the Blues, 2 goals to Brendan Favola, 2 to Jared Waite.
Yep. Glenn Mann to check on Lance Pachoni's condition. We see him heading down the race. The margin 21 points as we approach time on in the final term. The Roos converting even their half chances in this final term as the Blues continually try to surge back into it. Free kick going to the way of Koutafidis. 30th possession coming up to Spawn. Davies the best chance. He flew high, couldn't bring it down. At ground level, here's Betts on the right boot. Bounces it through.
Don't like the matchup.
Fantastic goal.
Well, Eddie Betts and Daniel Wells have been electrifying this afternoon. It's been a wonderful crowd, over 40,000, and they've got their money's worth from these 2 youngsters alone.
Oh, have they what? We've seen something in the future, haven't we? We're going to be watching these players for a number of years. But again, I say Glenn Archer, they have to change that matchup. Maybe Troy Makepeace go to Betts, because Archer just loves watching the ball and going for marks.
Hasn't got the pace neither, Tony.
No, he hasn't got the pace. And then we can see, I think Glenn Archer's nearly cramping as he's chasing Eddie Betts. So just change it now, because this game is still on and they can still win the game, Carlton. So no, they retain Archer on Betts.
It's just ticked over the 20-minute mark into this last term. 8 goals have been kicked. It's been goal for goal. Here's a chance for Grant out of the centre square. Corey Jones pumps the ball deep inside 50. Again playing in front. The Kangaroos couldn't take it. Was Thompson. Spawn on hands and knees, trying to find DeLuca. Loose ball. Now the whistle is gone and DeLuca will take the free kick. Still time for the Blues. And what a star, young star.
KB Jordan Bannister.
They've found in Eddie Betts.
Bannister out wide.
Bannister from half-back short to McGrath, who can run. onto that left boot. Here comes Favola. Great play by Brown. Somehow gets the ball across to Sinclair, who finds Daniel Wells. Now Big Sab's got it. Again, he should have taken a one-hander. Caught by Teague. Great tackle by Teague. And a wasted opportunity for the Kangaroos, because at the same time you had Harding on for a handball over the top, and McGrath on the rebound to the half-forward line. The high flyer that time was Barnaby French, couldn't take it, and it's forced over the line. So on the half-forward flank for the Blues, a good 65 metres out from goal.
He's an instinctive crummer, isn't he, Eddie Betts? So much of it's timing. You've got to hit the pack at just the right time.
You've got to always time hitting the pack as the ball comes off, and Eddie Betts can do that.
Have a look at this. This
just
is where
instinctively.
Glenn Archer can't go with Eddie Betts. Just Sinclair's gone there now.
Chance for Colbert. Look away handball. Finds Harris. Squeezed up on the boundary line. And a desperate diving attempt that time by Pratt. Has just got a fingernail to the ball. It's a boundary throw-in. He was looking for the free kick. Let's go down to Glenn Manton.
Lance Baccioni did come off with a shoulder injury, but it does look like it's settled down now, and unfortunately we're still looking at Luke Livingston and Andrew Walker on the bench for Carlton.
Kangaroos by 15 points. Shannon Grant caught one high that time.
He's been great, hasn't he? He's second
Great
half.
last quarter. Shannon Grant, 17 possessions, 10 kicks, 7 handballs. From half-back flank, looking for that loose player, finds Corey Jones. Has to get around Carazzo, can't do it. And has been pinged.
They haven't thrown it in, the Blues. Have not thrown it in.
Still got a chance. Still over 6 minutes left in this final term at Telstra Dome in front of just over 40,000 fans. The opening game of the season coming to you live and exclusive on Fox Footy. Right around the country is Carazzo to centre half forward, looking for Kuta Fides from behind. Watt has had a great game. Clever play by Eddie Betts, finds Scotland. Does a 360, kicks a high ball inside 50. Davies the high flyer, pushed out of the contest that time by Colbert. And happy to just take the ball over the line is Jess Sinclair for a toss back in.
The Blues have been courageous, haven't thrown it in as yet. They need 3 goals, and they've got just under 6 minutes to manufacture them. As Dean Laidley ponders. 4 points are there for the taking for the Roos. They just have to get it right for the last 6 minutes. Carazzo under pressure from Jones. Michael Stevens in there as well for the Roos, lapping in over the top.
Oh, get it out, get it out. No. Oh, gee, that was hard. He did pull the ball in, or it fell back into his lap, and a couple of Carlton supporters fell on his back. The umpire said there wasn't enough in the push to give a free kick.
Dangerous position here for the Blues. They've got space for Favola. Couldn't hang on.
Well done,
and Grant again. 7th touch in the final term for Shannon Grant has really lifted. And now on the rebound, the Kangaroos, Thompson. Rocker's got a couple of metres.
DeLuca, he cannot play in defence. He has never played there before. It's a big ask to play on a bloke who's played full forward for, I don't know, nearly 10 years of AFL football, VFL football.
We're worried about, obviously, Thornton being out and then losing Livingston. And in the end, it looks like it's coming to hurt them. Rocker and Thompson both kicking goals in this final term, and Sav could go back here and really put a dagger through the Carlton heart.
Go back up the other end, though. Lee Brown, Favola should have nearly marked that ball, but he just kept the pressure on. He's had a great game, Lee Brown.
Rocker for goal number 4. Bends it back, just hits the post. Gee, it moved late, didn't it? Looked to be heading through for a behind, and just over the last 5 to 10 metres started to curl in. Just clipped the inside of the woodwork. Minor score. Severio 3-2 today for him. It's got to be now for the Blues. 16 points the margin. 4.5 minutes remaining. Need something special. Harvey, handball over the top. Simpson can shut the door right here. High ball towards the square. Rocker's there again.
Well, he got a bit of a bump and a shove out from DeLuca, and it hardly moved him then, Tony. He's just still too big and too strong.
Well, you know, the ball was set up for him, wasn't it? You can see in the run here, just DeLuca tried to find the body, but missed most of it. And East Scotland, well, Sav Rocker just had to sit there.
This for his 4th. It's been a great performance from Sav. He's taken advantage of the opportunities presented by the absence of Thornton and then Livingston. He's put on a show this afternoon. A couple of fantastic one-handed marks. Some great set shot kicking for goal. And this for his fourth. Four to Big Sav. 2 in this final term. Carlton have been gallant. Margin now 22 points.
I suppose we shouldn't be surprised, Tony, because this is what the Kangaroos do year after year. Just when you think maybe they might be under pressure to sustain their ability to just compete all the time, they just come out. They've got a fantastic work ethic down at the club, haven't they?
Yes, they have. And they've won respect over a decade because of that reason. I don't think anybody came to this ground and thinking Carlton were out and out favourites to win this game.
I thought they were.
Oh, were you?
I thought they were clear favourites to win.
Oh, I don't know about that. I didn't know about that. But look, they've had some worries with injury. We know that. Walker and Livingston off the ground. But the problem is, it hasn't been that end. They paid the price there. It's been in the middle of the ground.
Correct.
Where Kangaroos have dominated after half time.
They lead by 22 points. Stevens charges out of the centre square. Runs to 55. Getting back again is Prendergast now. This has gone through right to the line. Touched. Again, desperate Kangaroo players right on the goal line.
It's been the effect, not the cause, hasn't it, inside 50?
That's right. The other issue too is you look at the Kangaroos defence and the key forwards of Carlton, who everybody depended on. Well, they've done the job. Lee Brown, Colbert's been great. Watt's done his job.
I reckon it's the best game I've seen Shannon Watt play.
Yeah.
Because I suppose in the past he's been such a negative player trying to hold gun forwards that he hasn't allowed himself to go down the ground and get possessions. And today, of course, he's actually got possessions, 16 in fact, and taken 8 marks. He's had a great game. Thompson has just grown and grown in confidence in this last term.
I'll talk during the week that Brendan Favola had a bit to say about Shannon Watt off the field and his ability, and it's proven to be the inspiration.
Comes back to haunt you sometimes.
9 marks also to Nathan Thompson today. Here's Daniel Wells. He's been accelerating today. Such pace and a couple of great goals. There's a shove out. No free kick to Big Sav. Chance for Rawlings because he has kicked a goal. So the Kangaroos, what a force. So formidable. They just keep on coming. And they have run Carlton into the ground today.
They have.
They have run him into the ground. And I think with the heat today, it was a matter of attrition. And I just reckon, Tony, that we could see early in that third term, Carlton players just weren't as sharp. They weren't quite as picking up. They weren't running as hard. And the Kangaroos have just outgunned them.
But I think the sign is, look at Scott Camporelli in this contest. There's his man. You cannot let your man get that clear in the forward 50. Scott Camporelli, Rawlings has had the tagging job. Camporelli's had 13 possessions, but been ineffectual in this game. So I would think that sign there, that just the way that Rawlings got away from Scott Camporelli meant they haven't got their mind right.
Interesting to know what sort of preparation the Blues have had since winning the Wizard Cup Grand Final, whether their work rate has eased off a little bit due to the 4 tough games they experienced in that competition. But today, we've been overrun. Scotland spins out of a tackle. Good smother from Harvey. It ricocheted to Koutafidis. Fends his man off. Kicks that up for Grant. One-on-one with Scotland. Wade arrives, as does Ferrito. Scotland has the arm pinned. Umpire says play on. Here's Wells and Harvey. Free kick down the ground. Harvey taken high as he cramps up. Again, numbers fall to the ball.
This
Shannon
is the man.
Grant, hasn't he run himself into the ground in the second half?
Well, most of his possessions have been on the outer side of the ground, on the wing too. I'm not quite certain.
Just worked hard in the space, hasn't he? Just worked hard, and his man hasn't been able to go with him.
Jordan Bannister came off the bench in the last 10 minutes mark of this quarter to go and play on him, and still he's outrunning him. And Jordan Bannister had a rest at the start of this quarter, and was also a very good athlete.
DeLuca against Rocker. It's been a tough learning curve for Adrian DeLuca in the second half. Hasn't spent a lot of time back, and will be in no hurry to get back there again after this game. Morrell comes steaming out. Couldn't get an effective handball. Socket off the ground by Davies. Makepeace comes crashing through, as does Houlihan. Great courage from both players. Ball spills to Davies. He's got a man running inside in Scotland. Draws, gives it to him. From 65 out, Scotland. Uncertain of his options, he's being corralled. Eventually clicks over the top. French, Davies can go to Whitnell. He can line it up from 45 metres out. Bends it across his body. And it's touched on the line by that man, Brown.
Isn't that significant, isn't it, when you see Lee Brown, one of the best players on the ground today, just stopping a certain goal for the Blues?
Well, he's been fantastic in that key post against Brendan Favola, and Shannon Watt playing on Whitnell as well.
A minute remaining, 26 points the margin. Lee Brown's given him nothing today. He has been...
Colbert's been good too. They've had good key defenders.
Throw in Shannon Watt, he's been wonderful. Right down the spine, in fact, the Kangaroos have really dominated right up the middle of the ground.
There must be something wrong. There's something wrong on that outer part of the ground on the wing, because Carlton players won't go in there. But the Kangaroos have been by himself every time. Pachoni
turns it over on this occasion. Teague. Now DeLuca. Disappointment for the Blues. They came here with high hopes. Lappin marks just forward to the centre circle.
He had a quiet second half too. Very good in the second quarter.
Spears it to Favola for a consolation one. He's got it. He gets the Bronx cheers from the crowd. Having said that, if he goes back and kicks it, he'll still finish with 3.
Yes, and Shannon Watt was the man who was on him on the lead there. So I wonder if Shannon, if he misses this goal, might say something. Because Brendan Favola said he had a few words about Shannon Watt away from the ground. And there's a siren.
Roos win it. Brendan Favola will kick after the siren. The margin as it stands is 26 points. And now the Roo fans getting into Brendan Favola. He was the best in the competition from beyond 50 last season. And this to put a little bit of polish on what's been a disappointing afternoon. Good looking kick off the boot. There'll be no celebration. It's a goal. The final margin reined in to 20 points as the Kangaroos sing their song.